Hello, hello, hello. Well, we are back again, right? So this one is a little bit of a different live stream. This is a tad bit different because a time ago I told people that hey, all you have to do is roughly leave me be and do what I do and I'll move on to the next thing. But that's not good enough for a lot of folks. Up out here, as we can clearly see by this person who left this comment, right? So I wanted to make sure to, hey, D Love, what is up? So I wanted to make sure to have this as quoted, right? So this person said underneath a video that I made in response to a comment that I got from a quote unquote another black man, right? Another black man came up and wanted to say something, no problem, right? He said, yet you're not Dr. Umar, Dr. King, nor Minister Farrakhan. You may think of yourself as some type of second coming, but you have no idea what the effect will be of stating certain truths concerning our Black American community in public will have question mark. If you had your own channel specifically for ADOS and FBA and Black Americans, that would be one thing. But you're airing our dirty laundry online is off code. This doesn't only happen in Black American communities. These issues take place in all ethnic groups, and making it seem this is something, I guess that was supposed to be like, this is something of an epidemic specifically to our Black American community. There's something there's some things you shouldn't discuss in public to be used as ammunition to further attack Black Americans. And this is why I question you being Black American. No other ethnic group of people discuss their dirty laundry in public, and this is what you're doing. And you really need to shut the fuck up if you don't know what you're doing, because clearly you don't have any professional credentials or letters behind your name to be discussing certain ills in our community. So, what gives you the right to discuss what the Black American community needs to do? What the who? I guess that was supposed to be who the fuck are you, right? Um, so for any of the black men, this video, I want to just make this very very clear. This live stream has nothing to do at all with black women at all. Y'all have nothing to do with this live stream. This is specifically for the black men out there that have a problem, the niggas that got a problem with me, like this older nigga that got a problem directly with me. Um, this is the thing, right? I've looked at a lot of failures in the black community, especially when it deals with black men. And I can even look within my own family, looking at both of my uncles, as I've stated before, the failures that they are and how it is that they decided to conduct themselves and treat one of their sisters, a black woman in the family, and not do what men needed to do in order to make sure that a black woman would actually be okay. Um, and on my end, I've had to sit up there and, in a sense, take care of two households. Right, I had to make sure that everything was cool where I'm at, and I had to sit up there and make sure that my mom was okay. But, both of the black men in my family, my uncles, failures, opted not to do what they needed to sit up there and do. So it's like for me, I'm highly fucking tired of black dudes who ain't really sitting up there doing shit, critiquing. Like I said before, I go to y'all, channels all the time, and y'all don't really got shit moving. Y'all not actually doing nothing, but y'all claim that y'all not social media people or social media niggas, and y'all got more important shit to sit up there and do, and shit ain't that serious. But it seems that serious when y'all pull up into my comment section. Y'all want to critique me under videos of me actually doing something. Like I said before, shout out to Dr. Umar, Dr. King, Mr. Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and also my condolences because he lost his wife about a day or so ago. And also shout out to Tariq and the many others directly out there. I never said that I was them. I never said that I was a leader. I even told people a while ago, don't even, consider me or call me a leader. I don't even, feel as though that I'm within that type of light. For me, I'm just figuring, stuff out. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to stay moving, right? I'm at least consistently going to stay moving. Unlike older black dudes out here where they just like, I'm just going to sit up there and just let time. I'm going to wait out some time. I'm just going to sit back and not really do shit, right? I'm not going to really be productive. And like I said, it's crazy how it's always older black men that pull up to the scene that want to critique younger black dudes doing something. And then you want to pull up to the scene and say that I don't have the credentials. A lot of y'all niggas don't have the credentials to actually be men. Y'all run away from y'all responsibilities. If there are responsibilities, you should be taking care of your family. You don't even want to sit up there and fucking do that. You're barely even fucking responsible for yourselves. Like every single time something happens, y'all niggas got an excuse. You always got a reason why it is that you can't do this and can't do that. Oh, the white man is holding me back. The system is sitting up there holding me back. Life is hard out here for a black man. How hard is it? How hard is it? You ain't really sitting up there trying. You're not really sitting up there doing. You ain't shaking nothing loose. So how hard is it? How hard is it? Life expectancy is low as shit. So realistically, you should be on the quickest thing moving. Because life comes at you fast. Right? Because you got everything holding you back. Every time you turn the corner, somebody's always after you. Can't even be consistent. You can be consistent about bitching, about crying, about just complaining. Like I said before, this is why I understand why you got black women out here feeling the way that they do. Because they're out there doing, they're out there moving. I get it. I completely motherfucking see it. I see it. I see it. And I sit back and as a black man that's doing, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not a BA. I'm sorry, I'm not a BA. As an individual, because I'm going by this person's comments because he questions that I'm black American. He doesn't feel like I'm black. I'm whatever. Right. It's crazy to know the fact that again, as a person that is doing or at least trying to, I got motherfuckers like this that want to pull up to the scene and they want to sit up there and critique. And the craziest part is folks like this get mad when I talk about stories which happen in other communities. On top of the fact that I highlight folks from other communities talking about their own community the same way that I'm speaking here. But have him sit up there and tell it, he said, I don't see that. White folks, they never sit up there. They don't talk bad about their community. The white man, they never sit up there and do that. They keep everything in house. You ever watch Tim Tebow? You ever heard him speak? You ever heard him mention anything dealing with white male pedophiles in the molestations and the rapes that take place? I guess you didn't see that. I guess you don't see Indian women talking about the stuff that happens by way of Indian men. I guess you don't see anybody from the Hispanic community calling out their own and talking about specifically what goes on there. But when I sit up there and do it, I'm the problem. When I sit up there and list the fact that you got the honorable minister had to come to the black community, I think it was a video that I have dealing with Chicago, and he was specifically talking to the black women there and saying that, yeah, we're going to come back through here and the brothers, we want to, get them straight. We're going to set them on a course because we got to clean up the neighborhoods and we got to clean up the assaults that's happening to the women and the kids directly up out here because that shouldn't be happening because the men should be protectors. The men should be protectors. So when I basically echo and I parrot something that I heard from an elder, right? Somebody greater than me, somebody who has walked many miles, somebody who is more educated, somebody who has spoke, in a sense to nations of people. When I parrot those exact same words, now I become problematic. But mind you, if I decided to be like any other dude out here, a statistic, running around, pillaging, murdering, shooting, gang banging, all this other type. If I decided to do that, I would still be problematic. People would still have a critique. If I sit back and did nothing, just minding my business, I would still have a critique. I would still be a problem. I would still be an issue. Like I said, this is what I be talking about when you can't win no matter what it is that you decide to sit up there and do. And you got folks out here, black men, because obviously I'm not one, right? You got black men like this guy up here that want to critique and he don't got nothing on nothing. Nothing on nothing. So instead of you being the older man that you are, instead of you coming directly to me, be like, yo, Young blood, let me sit up there and teach you something. Let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to do that. You ain't doing shit, just like my uncles. You ain't doing shit. This is why a lot of younger black males don't want to sit up there and listen to y'all. Because y'all ain't about shit. Y'all ain't doing shit. All y'all do is sit up there and critique. Now the difference is you got black women out here. They can sit up there and critique and do all of this, but they still moving. Y'all niggas sitting up there critiquing and doing all this bitching, and y'all sitting still. What's happening? What's happening? Like that, like for me, that doesn't make any type of sense at all. You've been resting for a long ass motherfucking time while the world has been sitting up here moving. But then you saying that things are keeping you back. What's keeping you back other than you? As a black man, what's keeping you back other than you? Like I said, dog, this whole shit right here is just it's ridiculous. And this is why I sat up there and said before that when it deals with the black community, this is why it'll be very difficult for stuff to move. Because again, if we actually start to fix problems and prevent things from taking place and we actually move forward, motherfuckers like this, they're going to cause problems because they're not going to have anything else to do because this is all they fucking know how to do, which is sit back, complain, and do all of this other type of bullshit while people are actually trying to figure out, people are trying to plan, people are trying to clean up, people are trying to do this, people are trying to sit up there and do that. Like I said before, dog, I never felt at any point in time that I was some type of great man out here. I always view myself as a normal human being, somebody at least trying to sit up there and do something, right? Had a reason directly to, or at least trying to find a reason, right? Something to basically keep me going. But like I said, you got folks directly in your own community in the sense that want to stop that because they feel that you don't got the specifics, you don't have the letter from a white man or credentials, or you don't have the accolades, or you don't have the acceptance of the people. Fuck all that. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I really don't. Honestly, I really don't. Like I said, fuck everybody 100% who either hates me, loathes me, dislikes the content. Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of y'all ain't doing shit. 9 times out of 10, y'all can't even really do shit with your own lives. Everybody out here is sitting up there running a fucking rat race, getting cheated, getting the short end of the fucking stick. And instead of taking out anger and frustration at those who actually affected you in your fucking life, you decide that you want to take out frustrations and shit on other people of which that you don't know shit about. Like I said, for this black dude, for example, that wanted to write and leave this comment, I bet you the same mouth that he got, he never had this at a white man at his job. Whatever white man in life that sat up there and was specifically signing a check, you wasn't moving your mouth like this. You wasn't trying to check them on motherfucking nothing because you know fucking better. You know fucking better. You're not going to be sitting up there running your mouth and checking a cop like this because you know fucking better. You know what's going to sit up there and happen. But here we are. You want to sit up there and come to somebody of the younger generation because you got age and supposedly wisdom, which I really don't see, especially in the comments that you've left to me as quote unquote critiques. And again, the craziest part is how you got an older gentleman here that wants to start popping off at the mouth and you want to start cursing and whatnot. I know for a fact you wouldn't sit up there and do this in public. You wouldn't dare sit up there and talk to young men like this, talking about who the fuck are you and all. You wouldn't do that because you know what the consequences are when you decide that you want to start running your mouth like that to men in public. Usually, it's not going to end well for any folks directly up out there. It's usually going to turn into a life or death situation because normally men are combative when it deals with people that want to be disrespectful. when it deals with people that want to start talking out of the side of their mouth and all this other type of shit. This is why I sit up there and tell people that a lot of folks get way too comfortable talking online. And like I said, I'm not sitting up there claiming to be no UFC fighter or nothing like that. But again, I would never sit up there and go to public and start horribly disrespecting other men directly about here that I don't know. That makes no sense. That makes zero motherfucking sense at all. But this is how comfortable black men are disrespecting other black men. So it's crazy at one point you want to say that I'm off cold because I'm talking about all of these stories. I'm bringing this up. But then at the same time, you as a black man are disrespecting me off of your feelings. Like I said before, I understand if other groups out there want to get emotional. I get it. I understand it. You're a black man. You're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be level headed. You're supposed to be wise. You're supposed to be all of these things, but you ain't shit. Because every single time folks like you pull up to my comment section, y'all prove it every single time. Y'all soapbox and soap stand as if y'all better, and y'all ain't doing shit. At least I'm trying. I might not be the greatest content creator out here. I might not be the most eloquent, speaker. Might not be able to pronounce every single word. Might not even be the most educated. But I'm at least trying. I'm at least doing what I can do, what I feel like I'm able to do. And like I said, even still, when it deals with folks in the black community, that's not good enough. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit. 1,000%. Like I said, you wonder why you got a lot of folks that want to leave and abandon the black community. It's because of shit like this. Because the craziest part is that in so many different instances, people can sit up there and honestly say that they've been accepted by other groups of people easier versus trying to be accepted within the black community, coming from the black community, being born from within and raised by the black community. But this is the type of shit that you got to sit up there and deal with just trying. Just trying. Like I said, I'm not at a point where I've made it and nah, it's just trying to still you're still trying to crawl. You're still trying to get to that point of walking where everything is consistent, where everything is in a sense solidified, where you can start to platform. And you gotta turn around and still deal with bullshit like this. Like I said, and this is another reason why I sat up there and told a lot of folks who are even a part of my channel, I would rather y'all sit up there and do gaming or anything else so that you don't have to sit up there and deal with this shit because dealing with this shit over the years it does shit to you mentally if it has an effect directly on you, and you have to really figure out a way to bear directly through it, to armor directly up. Because again, I know a lot of folks like to sit up there and tell me like, yo, Seji, why don't you just sit up there and block them or mute them, because that's not going to do anything. That'll be account number 9,999. There are certain battles that you can fight, right? And certain battles that you can't. I look at the things that I need to talk about as the battles that I need to fight. That I really need to be, in a sense, pouring emotion and everything directly into and to try to fight through emotionally, hearing and watching all of the videos and the stories and yada yada yada, just so that I can, put that stuff directly up out there. That's what I would rather, in a sense, focus on. But like I said, you got to sit up there and fight everywhere. So this is why I told a lot of black people who are on, my platform, I would rather y'all do anything else because it gets to a lot of days where it's just like this shit ain't even worth it, dog. This shit ain't even motherfucking worth it because people want to flip flop, people want to sit up there and do this, people want to sit up there and do that. People got all the critiques in the world, but they never had no motherfucking solutions. And like I said, that goes right back to the black community. Got all the critiques in the world, but don't got no motherfucking solutions. But the moment in time that you do have a person that at least has a voice and a platform and they're trying to deliver or give some solutions, you got niggas like this that shoot it down. It's like, oh, you're the second coming. Dog, I'm not sitting up there trying to say that I'm Jesus Christ. Like, I need a lot of y'all religious motherfuckers to get up off of that shit. Like, dog, I really need y'all to sit up there and get up off of the fucking name. Like it's either it's too Asian or it's too close to some religious type shit or I'm thinking I'm this, or I'm thinking, nah, y'all motherfuckers making me the main character realistically. It's y'all. Because like I said, I didn't even send or call for y'all. I didn't even pray to God or whatever deity about here to have y'all come forth. Y'all just showed up. And I told y'all like 99 different times, I'm like, at the end of the day, all you gotta sit up there and do realistically is let me be to my own devices. And then I'll move on to the next story. But y'all like to sit up there and motherfucking poke a bear. And the craziest part is this guy decided that he wanted to leave the comment underneath the response video where I sat up there and said that all you got to do is just leave me alone and I'll be fine. You sit up there and start calling my name 99 times, then we're going to sit up there and have a fucking problem. So, like I said before, we have endless content when it deals with black men committing crimes. I'm looking directly at them right now. Looking directly at them right now. Who do I have directly in front of me? Right? Because we got motherfuckers that want to sit up there and poke a bear. We got Colombian police search for a man wanted for attempted murder assault charges. South Carolina, the Colombian Police Department is searching for a man wanted on multiple violent charges for a weapon possession. Wow, it's crazy. Sounds like a statistic. Isn't that what they say online? Isn't that what they say, that black men always commit crimes? That this is what they always do? Always emotional, don't know how to basically carry themselves. They're dangerous around armaments, shouldn't specifically have them because all they're going to do is commit violent acts and crimes because, fatherlessness. Crazy work. CPD says that Cameron Cardiz Gibson Brown, age 27, crazy, is wanted in connection with a violent incident that occurred on March 29th. He is also wanted for attempted murder, assault, and battery, and possession of a weapon. And then when you sit up there to see the picture, hold on, let me get the picture directly up here. Because like I said before, motherfuckers don't want to sit up there and leave well enough alone. Don't want to leave well enough alone. Like I said before, I guess it's going to be pretty soon, sounding pretty conservative in this bitch real quick. And people going to be wondering like, yo, Seji, what happened to the content? Why you not doing this and why you not talking about this? Because you got random motherfuckers that want to keep, poking the bear. Y'all want to keep poking. Y'all want to keep prodding. Y'all want to keep throwing shots and asking who specifically am I and who am I to talk about this and whatnot or whatever. All right, then so be it. I'm going to sit up there and start talking about y'all now. Since you feel that the stories that I do are not good enough, since you want to be so ultra and uberly offended because I'm trying to, speak directly to black women, not at black women. I'm not trying to attack black women, but I'm trying to talk to them as a human being and not yell like a lot of you niggas like to sit up there and do because y'all don't actually know how to manage or talk to women at all. Right? But like I said, so we got this person here. He said the department is asking anyone for information about Gibson Brown's whereabouts, right? He is described as a black male, 5'11", 210 pounds with black hair, brown eyes. Look at that, sitting up there just committing crimes. Mugshot, just got a full-on smile with grills. Wild work. I can easily see this on any conservative front page on social media. Fits right into the stereotype and the statistic of which I've done my best to try to fight directly against. Like I said, I do my best. Like people don't understand. I've tried my best to be not heavy-handed, but pretty light when I happen to talk about content and put things directly about there because I have an understanding on how black people have been viewed and seen and everything of the sort. But I guess that shit doesn't matter. I guess people don't actually fucking care. It'd be like that though. It 100% be like that. Right? Who's the next one that we got directly up here? Right? So we got this person, and again, I'm just going by the article. I'm going by the picture and the information that is directly up there. It'd be like that. So the next person that we got directly up here, another black male, right? Because people say that I don't do enough videos holding black men accountable. So this is March 13th. Go just in case motherfuckers want to pull up to the scene, but like, yo, Seji, how old is this story? Like, you could be pulling March 13th of 2026, so you can now shut the fuck up. So we got a man previously charged with sexual assault while serving as a principal at Zion, Illinois. In 2019, is wanted in another sexual assault in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kenosha stated that they were first notified of the alleged sex assault on February 21st. Police stated that they have probable cause to arrest Curtis W. Tollfree Jr. for second degree assault and are asking for the public's help in locating him. Look at that. Another statistic. Sitting up there, don't know how to keep his hands or his body directly to himself, don't know how to talk to women or anybody, so he forces himself onto other folks. And this is not the first time, but the second time. And it's probably not the last time. I wonder who's hiding him. They said he is accused of having sexual contact with a person who suffers from mental illness or deficiency. Tollfree is described as a black male, approximately 6 foot tall, about 245 pounds, who was bald with brown eyes. Police said that he is a resident of Kenosha and has ties to the community there. So the next part of that article from 2019, they said elementary school teacher charged with sexual assault. In 2019, Tollfree was charged with sexually assaulting a student more than 10 years ago while he worked in Kenosha, Wisconsin. According to court records, Curtis Tollfree Jr., age 42 at the time, was charged with 3 counts of felony sex assault by school staff and 2 misdemeanor counts of exposing genitalia to a child. Tollfree was a principal at the Bella Park, I might have mispronounced that first part, but Park Elementary in Zion. He was placed on administrative leave after he was charged. Wow. Another black man. Wow, look at that. That's some diabolical work. What do those white folks normally say? The 1350, 1380, isn't that what they normally sit up there and say when it deals with these stories? That's some crazy work. And again, going back to this guy here and the other one, they got problems when I happen to, mention or talk about, stories. I'm pretty sure. Let me see, how old was this comment? Because I might put in a link, directly to the comment section. Oh, that was like 3 hours ago. Could I put in a link directly to this live stream? I could do it. I don't really fucking feel like doing it. I really don't. I don't really got the patience to do it at this moment in time. Maybe sometime later. Maybe sometime later, right? Maybe sometime later. Like I said before, it's wild how, again, folks want to have an issue and a problem directly, with you. But when you happen to cover stories like this, I'm just trying to figure out, where are all of those black men at that got a problem with me talking about black women? Where y'all at to pull up on the scene to have a live stream discussion about how to stop black men out here from assaulting the kids and the women directly in the black community? That's what I'm trying to sit up there and figure out. It's like a lot of y'all niggas be dead silent on that. And I done cover stories like this for a very motherfucking long time, but y'all don't really have a mouth. Y'all don't really want to question if I'm black American or not on that. You don't want to question if I'm a man or not on that. You don't got nothing to say when I'm specifically pointing the finger at you and be like, yo, what y'all gonna do about these niggas right here that I'm pointing out to you? Y'all don't got nothing to say. Your chest ain't out. You ain't on defensive mode. You ain't trying to be a superhero in front of nobody. Oh, that's right, because you the villain. That's some crazy work. That's diabolical. That's 100% diabolical. Let me see. Like I said, we got fields of stories. We got more stories. Let me see. We got another individual here. Let's just sit up there and take a look. So just in case anybody's wondering, this is pretty much what the live stream is going to look and sound like at this moment in time, because I can give a fuck less at this point. I can give a fuck less. And like I said, I'm just gonna start pointing motherfuckers to this live stream right here. If you want me to start doing content like this, where you want to see people that look just like you committing these crimes, right? Doing all of this horrendous type abhorrent shit, I got you. We can do that. So now we got this person here, and then he got tears directly in his eyes because he done fucked up. Hamilton police charged man with sexual assault, and they're seeking more victims. Hamilton police have arrested and charged a Hamilton man in connection with violent sexual assault investigation involving a female sex worker. That's crazy. That's crazy. Somebody that all you got to do is pay to sleep with. You're too broke to even do that. So you sexually. This is why I be just. Brother, Jesus Christ. In the city's central area, investigators believe that there may be additional victims and are urging anyone with information to come forward. Following the investigation, sex crimes unit 33-year-old Paul Kamani was taken into custody on March 15th of 2026. He is charged with sexual assault, aggravated assault, theft under $5,000, mischief under $5,000. Kamani is described as a black male, of course. 33 years of age, approximately 5'6" tall, 153 pounds, with a medium build, short dark hair, and a mustache and goatee. The investigators allege that Kamani arranged to meet a female sex worker in the central Hamilton area and became physically violent during these interactions. Investigators believe that they may be additional victims and are encouraging anyone who may have had contact with Kamani to come forward. The oldest profession in the world, all you have to do is just go and conduct business. You too broke and too much of an incel to actually do that. So you decide to sexually assault somebody who is probably already doing this type of line of work because that is probably what happened to them by way of men and their families. Jesus Christ. Can't nobody help y'all motherfuckers out here. Can't nobody help y'all out here. Like I said, I'm getting to the point right now, even just looking at these stories, going back into my, the previous earlier ways that I was sitting up there talking. I feel like a lot of y'all motherfuckers just unreachable, unteachable. Because this is the way that you sitting up here moving out here. You sitting up there going after minors. You sitting up there going after prostitutes. You sitting up there, doing whatever gang activity and shootings and all this. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy, but y'all motherfuckers want to sit up there and say that, I'm off code for sitting up there, talking the way that I do normally. Okay, so I guess we'll just sit up there and just and swap it up then. This will be the live stream where we'll sit up there and just you know, swap it up. Matter of fact, I might even sit up there even let me just redo the title. I got let me I just put it as doing crime in America. That's fuck. Like I said, because this is what motherfuckers want. Like, hey, people want to sit up there and go here. People want to sit up there and have shit a certain type of way. I got you. Like I said, I will oblige. No problem. Like I said, I might have to sit up there and name it something different. So now the title for the live stream is going to be "Black Men Doing Crime in America." That's the type of time that we want at this moment. That's exactly what the fuck we're going to do today, right? And I want to know. I don't even care about the lady that sent a picture. It ain't even about her because realistically, if the black men that are around were actually more of leaders, she wouldn't be forced, or she wouldn't have had the mentality to go into criminal activity, which normally is what men do. So I'm not even blaming her. She's not even at fault. For me, she's not even actually here. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me sit up here and do this. Let me do this a whole different way. No, let me do it. Like I said, I said that this live stream don't got nothing to do with black women today, and I mean just that. I got you. Let me make sure I be a man of my word, right? Since I don't have anything else, I don't have any other type of accolades or anything like that. Let me just do that. Let me just keep the focus real simple. Black man directly on screen, right? They said 3 charged with assault in connection with a viral Cincinnati brawl, right? And this is just a video that came directly up. Again, I don't even care about the date at this moment in time. It be like that. They said 3 people have been arrested in connection with a brawl in Cincinnati after footage of the incident went viral. They said police in the U.S. city earlier stated that they were searching for a total of 5 people in connection with the fight, which sparked reactions by Vice President J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, and others. Right? What is his name? Montez. I don't even know what that is. We're going to go with Merriweather, 34, Werner, 24, and Matthews, 39, has been charged with assault and aggravated riot, according to police records. Merriweather and Werner were additionally charged with felonious assault, which is punishable by up to 8 years in prison. The melee broke. Matter of fact, this I'm just going to stop it here. Any of the black men that were there that were part of the melee, just give them prison time and give the black woman there the least amount of time, because the black men there are responsible for their own actions. They decided to be a part of this brawl. If they would have had more control over their emotions, right? If they were better leaders and have more control of the women that are around them, none of this would have specifically happened. So this is directly resting on the shoulders of those black men that are directly given prison time. Give them prison time. Hold them 1,000% accountable for the actions that were committed by way of their own bodies and hands. Because nobody told them to do this. They opted to sit up there and do it. They could have found 9,999 different ways to get away from that situation, but they opted to run towards the fire instead of away. Like I said before, I don't got time for this shit. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Not at all. Like I said, this is all of this shit is just it's ridiculous. It's just it's 100% ridiculous. Like I said, that we're at this point where I have to start doing shit like this, because you got folks again like this that want to pull up to the scene and they want to feel a certain type of way emotionally because I'm specifically talking to and not at black women about certain things that are not becoming of black women and things that they need to do in order to save themselves from certain types of motherfucking situations. Let me also point this out to the black women there. Whenever you see these niggas pop up and they start writing in the comment section, I want you to know that 99.9% of the time they don't actually give a fuck about you. And what I mean by that is, if they actually motherfucking cared, they would actually give a solution, right? No matter which way I sit up there and talk directly to y'all, I at least try to implement or to give a solution so that you can save yourself, right? Like I'll sit up there and say that, hey, black men, y'all ain't really leaders and whatnot, or whatever. Okay, cool, fine, right? No problem. I got you. Right. So the only thing that I can do is basically try to speak and give you, some words so that you can decide that you want to follow them or not. You can decide that if you want to save yourself or not. Like I said, you don't even got to say that I sat up there and told you. You don't even got to say that I pointed out. Say that God did it or something. Like I said, I don't care how it happens. As long as you're fine at the end of the day, as long as that you're safe, as long as you're not, being harmed in any other, other type of way, I'm good. That's all I care about. Niggas like this don't actually care. They don't care. Every single time that they sit up there and talk anyone a posture, they're never giving solutions to black women out here. They're never looking at the problems and be like, all right, as a black man, it's like, all right, I see what what he's sitting up out here doing. I disagree with it. So let me actually be solution based. Let me show a difference directly out there. They don't care. These motherfuckers don't care. And they sit up there and say that I'm not black. Okay. Then I guess I'm not. I'm a human being that actually cares. I'm a human being that's going to give tough love, and that's going to say things that a lot of people are not going to sit up there and say. Like I said, it's crazy. Like motherfuckers think like I don't like I said, I don't know what motherfucking type of time that y'all on. Like I said, I disowned and I told that directly to my mom, and I told that directly to both of my uncle's sons, that I basically don't care what happens to both of my uncles at all. Do not care me. Do not call me. Don't let me know that they're in the hospital. I do not give a fuck. I'm not showing up to what is it? No funerals. I ain't carrying no casket. Like I said, I'm going to outlive you, and I'm going to do better and be better than you. That, like I said, that's the main goal that I have. That's my driving force at this moment in time. I got to sit up there and do better than older black men out here. That's a damn crying shame. That's a damn crying shame that you got so many fucking failures of black men directly about here that you can't sit up there and fucking depend on. That the ones who are younger have to sit up there and pick up the slack and do more. That's wild to me. And like I said, for the older black men out there, y'all wonder why a lot of us have the type of attitudes that we have, and why it is that we talk to y'all the way that we talk, and the way and how it is that we view and see y'all. That's because, like, y'all, a lot of y'all ain't shit. And then in a lot of instances, the ones who are in a sense doing, like a decent job, and y'all know that the guys that you connected with ain't shit. Y'all ain't really saying nothing to correct that shit. Like that don't motherfucking make sense to me. Like I said, at least at points in time when I was younger, I sat up there and tried to give words of advice, or try to, point people into a road of navigating them away from, a form of either like violence or abuse or whatnot or whatever, when it dealt with a lot of these situations. Like I said, a lot of these black dudes that pull up to this platform, you'll never see them speak out on how it is that they stop abuse from happening within the black community by way of black men that they know of. You'll never see them sitting up there talking about that. And I ain't trying to hear the shit talking about like, oh well, what's done don't need to be talked. Move that shit the fuck out my way. We got too many stats out here talking about how black men do everything negative. You need to, if you've actually done something, you need to motherfucking talk about it. You need to raise it up, pedestalize that shit higher than the fucking sun, so that people actually know that some actions are and solutions are being specifically given. Y'all motherfuckers don't care. But then all of a sudden, when now those ain't shit black dudes out here, they ain't doing shit. Now, the moment of time they got a daughter, now they want to sit up there and they want to start actually doing something. Nah, motherfucker, it's too late. It's too late. So because you ain't shit, right? And you're raising your daughter, or partially, or however it is that you're sitting up there doing it, she's going to attract somebody who is just like you. So you ain't shit. Your daughter's going to attract a man in her life or a boy in her life that ain't shit. So the same thing that you did to black women in the black community, both either younger or at the age that you're currently at this moment in time, that's the same thing that's going to happen to your daughter. And it ain't gonna be shit that you can do about it, because what you should have did as a black man was sit up there and change yourself to begin with from the beginning, before you sat up there and decided to lay down unprotected with a black woman and produce that little girl. So like I said, everything that happens to her is directly on you, because you couldn't clean up yourself. Now she got to sit up there and deal with the aftermath. Because you couldn't fix your energy, now she got to sit up there and deal with the men who are just like you that's going to be coming to her direction. It's your fault. Like I said, this is why a lot of people like to sit up there and say that a lot of y'all motherfuckers don't want to be held accountable, because you don't. Y'all got all the excuses in the book of the reasons why you can't sit up there and do this, and why this sat up there and happened and all this other type of shit. No, motherfucker, it's you. 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 Like I said before, it's crazy, man. It's 1,000% crazy out here. It's 1,000% nerve wracking. Like I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be it's going to be real sad out here in a minute. Let me tell you, if it really gets to a point where you got a lot of other black content creators that do this, that are in this type of space, if they're just like, hey, I don't got the mental for this no more, I'm dipping. If it gets like that, oh, it's over. It ain't gonna be no voices out here, because the main ones critiquing, they're not gonna step in and basically fill that void, because they can't. They don't got the wherewithal. They don't got the energy. They don't got the time. They're always gonna have excuses. They're gonna say this and that and all this other type of shit. It's like I said, it's crazy. It's 1,000% crazy. Because I remember when it was a point in time when you didn't have this space online and people were just out there in public saying like, "Yo," an open conversation that we really need, people that are of the people to come out here and to really speak and to inform people and to do this and to do that. And like I said, the moment in time that y'all got what it is that y'all wanted, this is what y'all sit up there and do. This is what you sit up there and do. This is how y'all sit up there and talk. But like I said, you'll never sit up there and talk to a white man like this though. Like, I wonder how many times that this dude right here pulled up on a white man and decided to critique his platform or to say this or to say that, to really like rah 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 and have that type of mouth. I wonder how many times. Because that's my question. Like I said, it's easy. It's easy. It's very easy to come up to another black man. Oh, I'm sorry. It's easy for a black man to come up to a human being and decide that you want to critique them and say that you can do this and you can't do that and all this other type of stuff. But it's like when it deals with those in the United States historically that have caused things, where's your voice really at? What are you really sitting up here doing? The other craziest thing, like I said before, is that when it deals with a lot of these conversations, I never see these same black dudes pulling up to the scene, showcasing and giving black women information on self-protection or advocating for that. You know what I have seen in my comment section when I've done videos like that over time? I've had black dudes come in and be like, "Oh no, black women, they don't need weapons. They're too emotional. This, that, and the third, and all this other type of stuff. And all they're going to do is this, that, and the third. I mean, but haven't we already had black men overly emotional, don't know how to handle themselves, and they're sitting up there taking black women out left and right, taking out the kids left and right, and they got guns either legally or illegally. So what you got to be afraid of? An even playing field? I'm a little bit confused. If you got overly emotional black men out here that got guns, why would you be afraid of an emotional black woman having a gun? I'm a little bit confused. That doesn't make any type of sense. That only means that you're in fear because now you know that there are consequences if you decide that you want to move stupid. See, you're not in fear when you're the only one that basically got the gun. Now you're the biggest man on the block. Now you can do it and move high. You can take up as much space as you want to sit up there and do. Right. But now when you got somebody that's carrying the same weight, now you're moving different. You know how to sit properly. Now your back is straight. Now you know how to speak to people properly. Conduct yourself as a human being versus a savage. Like I said, I've heard a lot of reasons as to why it is that black women should not own guns. But yet from those exact same men, I have yet to see them give a solution onto how it is that we can eliminate the issue of black women needing to actually have that type of protection directly on them. I haven't really heard those same men speak on the fact of black women out here fearing black men because of what black women have seen by way of if they were young girls, by way of stories from their girlfriends or their sisters or their moms, their aunts, grandmothers. Like I told y'all before, I got an aunt and I didn't know how it is that her face ended up getting slashed. And it had to do with an argument that she and the guy that she was with had, or however it basically happened. And he decided to sit up there and take a blade and he cut up her face. If I had a time machine and the money, I would have made sure that she would have had the proper training and had a weapon because I would have been happy with her having to go to trial to basically show people that she's innocent so that people can understand why it is what happened. This is why I don't feel sorry when I happen to hear stories of black men actually losing their lives out here because at certain points I can look at them and I can happen to see certain things. Better yet, minus those stories, I've seen videos as recently as 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, and one of which being a black man sitting up there chasing a black woman around an apartment getting her to the ground, and he starts swinging directly on her as she's in the fetal position, telling him to sit up there and stop. Now again, I'm trying to just figure out, right, if I'm able to see these videos just like everybody else is. And I'm just trying to figure out the same black men that critique me and say that I shouldn't be talking about these types of stories and that I'm off code. Where are you guys at to sit up there and specifically give solutions in order to save those black women and to stop those black men from putting hands on black women, specifically your daughters, your nieces, your granddaughters, your stepdaughter? And all I get is silence every single time. All I get is those exact same fools never pulling up and showing up to those videos. But they'll make sure to see every other video that I do, that they can posture, that they can make a stance, that they can do this and they can do that. That's crazy. Like I said, I've even done a live stream before where I had dudes that wanted to pull up and start saying a lot of shit. But then once I started playing a whole bunch of stories and it was looking bad for black men, now all of a sudden motherfuckers wanted to shut the fuck up. A lot of those comments that they wanted to start making towards my moderators, they was really shutting the fuck up because I'm like, yeah, it's not looking so good, huh? It's not looking so good in your direction. You might want to just pipe down and shut the fuck up. Like I said, it's wild out here, man. It's it's very wild how people decide again to move and how they want to posture and take this type of stance and they want to sit up there and critique you for what it is that you're trying to do. Like I said again, I'm not the most eloquent speaker. Probably don't even use words correctly. A lot of typos, misspellings, right? And anything else that you can probably sit up there and name. My main thing is that I try. I try to do the best that I can with whatever it is that I got. And that's it. That's the only thing I can sit up there and do is at least try. Because the best way that I sat up there and looked at it is that you're a failure for never trying. And that's how I look at a lot of black men out here, failures for never trying, not even attempting, always giving fucking excuses. But yet I'm the problem. I'm off code. I'm doing the wrong thing. I need to be doing better. Again, for motherfuckers, they ain't doing shit. Like I said, it's crazy, man. It's 100% crazy. So again, shout out to D Love. Shout out to Brandon V World for the dono. Shout out to Gail. Shout out to Chris. You know. And the other thing I told y'all before, just like with the previous video that I did, if and also shout out to those. Let me just actually look at that. Try to move, my energy a little bit differently. So shout out to the 645 that pulled up, to the video, and shockingly enough, people actually, watched a nice little tidbit about 6 minutes and like 19, minutes about it. I didn't even expect people to make that far in the video, but like I said, shout out to y'all. Shout out to the 24, comments that are directly there. Even I stated directly in that video, I know videos and live streams of which that are not going to move, that won't pull or get a lot of views. And it'd be like that. Like I said, given the topic, I already understand that a lot of the black guys that are on this platform that normally like to say stuff about black women, they're not going to sit up and pull up and say shit at this moment because it's not going to fare too well. Because I start going into statistics, like I said, it'll start looking real conservative and Republican. Y'all will really start thinking that I'm anti-black. Because, like I said before, um, I tolerate certain things, and I try to do it as balanced as possible. Like just as much as you got black women that'll pull up on videos and start saying stuff about black men. I'm like, all right, it should be equal. So you got black dudes that'll sit up there and say the exact same shit. Now, when it starts getting to a point of it being, going overboard, that's when I start having a problem. And that's another reason why I stated before on this platform, why I technically blur out a lot of the names because people don't really got common sense. And I have to sit up there and not only protect myself and what it is that I'm doing, but I have to protect a lot of people from themselves because people want to take liberties, unnecessary liberties, and they want to start saying, all types of nonsensical stuff. And even in some instances, listing threats to other people because of their opinions. And I'm like, nah, you shouldn't be. You're not going to do that by way of me. If you yourself happen to find out who those people are, when I happen to showcase those videos or whatnot or whatever, that is specifically on you, right? When it deals with those other platforms. Like I said, for me, like I said, I don't know. I don't know. Um, the craziest part is I didn't even realize that we had a whole comment section here. Let me just be honest with y'all. I only saw a few comments um up here because that's all it gave to me. And the only reason that I'm able to see a lot of y'all comments, right? Like I kid y'all not, like I'm actually quite baffled right now at the amount of comments that I see in the comment section. Because like I said, I'm using StreamYard, so it's a little bit I guess it was like broken. It showed, let me tell y'all, it showed D Love, it showed Brandon V World, it showed Gail, and it showed Chris, and that was it. Those were the only four comments that I had. I'm like, all right, well, it's just us today. It's just us today talking about this whole situation and whatnot or whatever. Like I said, I don't care. It could end up just being like two of us here in the live stream, and I'll be talking like it's 100 or whatever folks normally be here. So like I said, I just want to list my apologies to anybody that has been commenting, and I honestly did not know, because I just refreshed the chat and it started pulling up everything that y'all, wrote. So like I said, again, just my apologies. Like I said, I don't want people to think that I was just ignoring comments and all this other. I wasn't. I just was like, all right, well, I guess a lot of people ain't interested in this topic. I'm just, like I said, it's crazy. The only reason I knew that something happened, uh, because we had a shout out to I hope I got this right, Jazoni 12 for the $20 don't know shout out. Let me highlight because now I can actually highlight. Shout out to Brandon V World for the $2 dono, and shout out to uh I'm sorry, Jazzy One. I'm sorry, I don't know how I was pronouncing that. My apologies. Shout out to Jazzy 112 for the $20 dono. Said, thank you for doing what you do. Your voice is needed. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Much love, respect, and appreciation. So again, like I said, my apologies. I did not know that we even. So let me just go through real quick. Shout out to Bushido, Mahoko. Um, who is it? We got Mr. J. He said addressing issues in our community is how we fix issues. If Eric only has criticism with no solutions, then he needs to shut the fuck up. Yeah, that's my whole belief. We got Shadow. What is up? What is up? What is up? We got Christy. What is going on? You said why are so many of our Gen X and Boomer elders so illiterate? I thought their IQ was supposed to be higher than Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Yeah. Yep. That's 100% facts. Yo, what is up, Sonny? What is up? What is up? What is up? What's going on? What's going on? So we had a couple of trolls directly up in here. Let me just get you up out of here. Yo, what is up, Judah? What is going on? What is happening? Um, let me see. Sonny said, "What's wrong with qualifying as someone like Farrakhan or MLK? That's how disconnected they are from FBA culture. He's a tether. I mean, like I said, hey, people are free to critique. You know, um, Mogul said we got your back. D Love said just out here punching keys. Christy said the internet is safer than Japan. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Sonny said, every tether is inherently a coward, so their conversations always end up going this direction always. I believe it. Mogo said Eric is a typical weirdo who stalks respected black men. Sonny was like, he is not a black man. He is a tether. Yo, Glaze, what is up? He said, I appreciate you and your content, brother. Sonny says, Seji, WTF are you doing? Bro, he's not us at all. Please don't confuse him with FBA. No, 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 Sonny. It's not even just that. It's like this is in a sense like residual stuff, like over time. Like I told you before, like I've had, black guys that pulled up to the stream and motherfucker was trying to send you know, like death threats, or they wanted to sit up there and, talk about trying to fight me and, doing all this other type of stuff over either comments or videos that I did. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I didn't know it was that serious, but I'm like, so you want to talk this type of way towards me because I'm doing this type of content, but if your father or your uncle or whatnot, touched you when you was a child, you ain't trying to sit up there and speak on trying to fight them. You ain't talk about trying to, put hands on them or put them away. So I'm like, so how do you got more anger for me versus men in your life that have more than likely affected you a negative type of way? I'm like, it don't make no type of sense. And that's why I sit up there and say, like, a lot of this, type of talk that they like to do in my comment section is it's misplaced anger. Like I said, I was honest with y'all before on, being younger and how, I was angry at certain things when it dealt with, my father and whatnot. And I had to catch myself and I'm like, yo, this ain't the way to sit up there and move. I'm like, yo, if I keep allowing myself to sit, in those type of like negative emotions, again, it didn't even really have anything to do with him. It was just me amping myself up about things. Right. And it again has nothing to do with him. It was just me internally amping myself up. And I'm like, if I keep moving in the same type of way, it's like I ain't gonna be here for much longer. I'm gonna end up, doing the wrong things. It's gonna cost me everything. And it was at that point when I realized that. And again, that was me like, woo, I think we're like in between the ages of like 16 to 18, where I had to like emotionally pull myself back and I had to assess the situation before it got worse. And like I said, that's why I got the perspective that I have now, where I know that and I know and understand that you got a lot of these young dudes that have a lot of displaced or misplaced emotions, and they're mad about a lot of things, but due to the fact that you're not allowed to quote unquote cry or show emotions and all this other type of stuff, you just both like I said before, this is why I said that the main type of emotion that is acceptable within the black community when it deals with black men is anger and rage. If you decide to like tear up, if you decide to cry or anything like that, people gonna start saying that you're a bitch. They're gonna call you, everything, under the sun, right? So, like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. Yo, Mo, what is up? You said haters in gaming. Also, can't escape them. That's true. That's true. What is it? Sonny said, read the room. You have no business giving this fool so much credit. Yeah, like I said before, hey, I do videos or whatnot like this. Originally, this was going to be a video, but I already knew that it was going to be, too long or whatnot or whatever. So I mean, either which way, it was going to come out the same, you know. But like I said, I do this for entertainment, but I also um do it, I guess you could say, in a sense, a form of therapy in a sense, but not even just for myself, but for other folks directly up out there, either if they are content creators or not. Like I said before, in a lot of instances, you have people feeling like they the only ones, going through whatnot or whatever, or people can't sit up there and understand this or understand that. And I'm like, nah, you got other people who are going through some stuff that might be similar, pretty close, or the same type of thing. And it's like, yeah, ain't the only one. You just gotta, figure out how to, get directly through it. So like I said, even with going back to what you said, Sonny, even dealing with his comment, my main solution was for him and many others out there to be the solution. Like I said, if you feel like I, as a black man, I'm not doing enough or I'm not doing the right things, then I need you to sit up there and do better than me. But you're not. That's how I feel about it. Like I said, all of the critiquing in the world, you can critique me from now up until like 100 years from now, but I'm like, are you going to do better than me? Are you going to provide solutions or better solutions than I've at least tried to sit up here and do? And when I look at a lot of those comments that dudes like this that you can see on the screen happen to leave, I know for a fact that they're not going to do it, or they'll give the excuse of like, well, I only sit up there and I'm worried about just the women da 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 and all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, that sounds all good. That sounds good online. That sounds good when you write it down, but are you actually doing it? Because in reality, a lot of people will talk a good game, but they don't actually do shit. But then the same people that ain't doing shit, they got all the critiques for those who are actually trying to do something. You know, like I said, it's crazy. Uh, what is it? Gail said, "I know this line of work takes a toll on you." Lord, that's why I gotta gotta skip over every time. It's always Gail. Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy. Judah said, "Not another novelist in the section." Yep, yep. And the craziest part is this ain't the first. I think I might have showed y'all this dude leave comments. This ain't the first time he done left comments. This is why I be talking about like if these dudes was actually consistent on a consistent basis, leaving the same consistent comment. All right, cool. I can see you, right? But y'all ain't even they're not even consistent on that. Like they'll pull up on some other content and they won't have these type of critiques or be saying or talking the same way. They'll actually just talk about the shit that happened. But when it deals with other videos, here they come with the critique. I'm like, dog, at least be consistent. At least be consistent. Like you can't sit up there and say that you, in a sense, you're going to comment basically agreeing with the content. But then in a whole nother video, you're going to say that I don't really got the credentials to be out here critiquing, black Americans, or to say this or to say that, or I'm off code because I'm talking about this and I'm talking about that. Like, yo, get that bullshit up out of here. Like that shit, like I said, that shit to me is crazy. And like I said, the main challenge that I've placed directly about there, like I'm waiting for a lot of those black dudes that want to sit up there and critique me, like, yo, start going after your brothers and your fathers and everybody else who've been sitting up there brutalizing, who've been raping, who've been molesting black women and these young black girls about here. I'm waiting for y'all to sit up there and give a solution directly to that shit while y'all critiquing me. You ain't doing it. You're not moving in that direction. Magically, that's not your concern. Magically, that's outside of your field of scope and all this other type of stuff. Like I said, like yo, it's just I don't know. Gail said, "I thought the second coming meant the powers that be weren't going to hold you down after the bull crap that they pulled with the first channel." I mean, pretty much that's pretty much close to it. That's pretty much close to it. Um, like I said, I just looked at it as a name. That was it. I didn't sit up there and look at it as like some type of like religious, type of thing or whatnot or whatever. But again, I'm guessing since he and many others are so offended by the second coming, I'm guessing that they have to be heavy Bible thumpers or church type of people. And that's why I sat up and said before, I don't, in a sense, really like church types because they are some of the most judgmental people. I know this because again, I have an uncle who is of the church and he is ultra judgmental. It's ultra judgmental. Like I said, it's crazy work out here. It's diabolical. Judah said they some weirdos. Yep. Sounds like he needs to worry about his own people. He's not black. He's cosplaying as us to validate his reasoning for the scrutiny. Mm. Chris said that dude is definitely from Florida. Judah said 100% at Sunny. Uh, Eric said, I'm not understanding. Is it because you're openly going after your own people? Yes. But more specifically, um, the guys that I've showcased, like their comments when they want to critique me, they only get mad when I'm specifically talking to black women. Like I said, I'm not talking at. right? I'm not talking through, I'm not talking above, I'm looking directly at black women, talking to them, as a human being, you know. Like I said, when you, in a sense, listen to other black dudes online and he's sitting up there, trying to deliver a message to black women, they're talking directly, at, right, all of this other type of stuff and whatnot or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's not really going to sit up there. I mean, technically, it don't matter how you sit up there and do it, people are still going to get offended. But like I said, I go about it as trying to talk to, a person as a human being, versus trying to talk at them and trying to beat them, with the message. Like that's gonna cause people to be far more resistant versus you trying to, come directly to them and and all the other type of stuff. But like I said, different approach, you know. You said Seji, he said I've got something even better. Highlight the fails of black men that's only 50 and up. Try that one. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I probably start doing that. I have a whole nother browser open, and you'll probably start seeing me post those stories. And again, I want you to know, the moment in time I start posting those stories, the views on the stories are going to be very, very low. They're going to be very low. And the reason why I know this is due to the fact that the greater majority of the percentage that is a part of this channel are men, right? So I know the views on that is going to be low. I already know how that's going to sit up there and work out. And just like I've done before, whenever I happen to do stories directly on men, very little comments, very low views. So, it's like I said, it's crazy how people want to say, like, stop sitting up there, focusing on the women and doing this and that. But I'm like, this is the main thing that you want to show up and start speaking on. Because when I'm waiting for you to have a conversation, like I'm a man and you a man, when I'm waiting for us, to have this conversation, this dialogue, y'all motherfuckers don't show up. You don't show up because you ain't trying to, you ain't really trying to sit up there and have that conversation. You know, like I said, it's crazy. Son was like, said you don't lose the game. He's an anti-black tether. You deal with him by figuring out exactly where his family came from. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I get you. I get you. I get you. Eric says, so that makes them guilty. Let me see. Um, let me see. What is it? Yeah, it's another troll. No problem. I got you. Got you. Let me see. Sonny said most of the crime is FBA. Once you look further into them, there are criminals from other countries that have nothing to do with. No. You are 1,000% right. But like I said, for specifically those black men that want to critique me, they don't know the difference. They're not going to come up and try to give other types of stats and whatnot or whatever. You know, like I said, I can sit up there and do a variety of videos, and more than likely, those people might not be Black American men. But does it matter at this point in time? Nope. Because the main thing, Sonny, that they wanted me to sit up there and do is like, you need to sit up there and start talking about black men. So, hey, like I said, people are going to get what it is that they ask for. This is why I sat up there and told people, like, hey, it's important that when you talk to the universe and you want certain things out of it, you got to be very specific, right? The universe doesn't understand couldn't, shouldn't have, won't, don't. None of that happens. You got to be very specific. Just like whenever you saw like Aladdin, the genie was like, yo, you got to know what you want. You got to be very specific, exact, so that you can get what it is that you want. If you're just even a little bit off, you want to get something that more than likely you didn't want. It's going to look like it, but it's still going to be something missing. It's still going to be a tad bit different. And it's going to be something that more than likely you were not expecting. So, like I said before, the only thing I can sit up there and tell y'all is whatever happens, happens. The guys that pull up to the scene and want to critique me and run their mouth, they are to blame for whatever stories I happen to put directly about there. Like I said, I'm not going to do no background. I'm doing it for face value. I'm going by the exact way that they look, the exact way to describe. That's all I'm going to sit up there and do. Because, like I said, what the dude say? He said, I don't got the facilities, right? I'm not intelligent enough and all the others. All right, cool. I can play that game. I'm going to do just like white folks do. I'm not doing no deep dive. If the person looks black, if the name sounds black, that's a black man. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. And I want them, I dare them to sit up there and pull up. I dare them to pull up to have a problem and an issue. I dare them. I dare him, because then we really gonna start having a conversation about the safety of black women and black young girls and kids about here. We really want to sit up there and have that conversation. And like I said, that's a conversation that they don't want to sit up there and have. Like I said, there's certain conversations people are fine with having, and there's other conversations where people start to get uneasy and antsy, and people start moving around, and people want to change the subject. They want to throw a flag on the play. They want to start moving the goalposts. That's one of those conversations. Because, like I said, I done covered those videos and I done showed the faces of black men before, and ain't none of these niggas pull up to sit up there and say, "Yo, says you need to start talking about you need to." Nope. They made sure to shut the fuck up and stay directly in the background like they normally do. Like I said, it's crazy. Taylor Wolf, you said for every black man you put up here, you can put two white men. It's not about white men. That's what I keep saying. This don't got nothing to do about nobody. I don't care about no other demographic. Tim Tebow, he got that. Chris Hansen, he got that. I don't the FBI, they got like I said, I don't specifically need to go directly into that. I've covered that before. My specific thing, like I said before, going by the comments that I just so happen to get, on this channel, however often from guys like this, that's what I'm going to focus on. If they say that I don't focus on that, that's what I'm going to focus on. That's what I'm going to sit up here and talk about. What was it? Eric said, of all people, if you're a brother, you should understand that the media is a propaganda tool used against our people. Brother, 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 let's not do the devil's work. I mean, to be like that. The main thing I put it like this to Eric, right? I told people a while ago I can be the devil that you want me to be. If I'm not good enough to, in a sense, be a helper, if I'm not good enough to give advice, if I'm not good enough to do the things that I'm at least trying to do, then I'm going to be what it is that people assume or say that I am. And this is why I sit up there and tell people 99 different ways. Words are very important. Just like didn't matter of fact, didn't this dude Eric sit up there and say that? He was like, "Hey, all of the stuff that you put out there, you don't know what's the broader scope of what the effect is going to have on this community." Just like he doesn't know or understand the effects that his words and many others can sit up there and have directly on an individual. And this is why I kept telling people, what was the main shit? I think if third is here, it was the whole thing of like a villain arc. Yeah, like I said before, a lot of people believe that I'm a child of Satan anyway, that I'm doing the devil's work, that I'm going to a pro, that the government is sitting up there paying me, that I'm working for the white man, that I'm doing all of this other type of stuff. I'm like, well, all right, fine. I will be what it is that you desire. Cause like I said, you ain't saying nothing, you ain't seeing nothing, you ain't saying nothing positive there, brother. So I'm gonna sit up there and look at it the same way that you look at it. Taylor said, "Why are wait what? You said why are crashing out on us cause a boomer pissed you off?" Man, I think I know that's like a major typo. And then underneath that you said, "So this is your new format." I mean, I didn't say it was. I said it can be, it could be. It has a nice potentiality for that to sit up there and be like I said, people don't listen to what it is that I happen to state. And the craziest part is I stated this directly to white folks first. White folks were some of the main ones that set up there and pulled up to the scene and that really had a problem directly with this channel. And I'm like, hey, if you want me to sit up there and shut up, just let me do what I do. And I'm not going to be concerned about you. I'm just going to move on to whatever other story. But the moment in time that you keep knocking on the devil's door, you're going to sit up there and get an answer. And the answer that you get, you're not going to sit up there and like it. So, like I said, a lot of white people didn't sit up there and like this channel. They started coming directly through here, and they didn't like what it is that I had to broadcast and put directly out. Right? So then once I sat up there and, got directly through, right? So that people know who it is that I'm replying to. So once it is that I got through directly with that, I moved directly on and moved to the next topic. And the same exact thing happened again. And I told people from like, hey, just let me do what I do and we cool. The moment of time that you try to impede on what it is that I'm doing, you're going to make it more difficult. You're going to make me stay on this road a lot longer than realistically what I want to actually be here. And it's just going to be worse for the both of us. That's just what's going to be. And it just keeps happening every single time. And I keep telling people, I'm like, yo, this is not, I got time. Like I said, I got time. If people want to sit up there and get stupid and be stupid, we can just be stupid together. We're going to be putting blocks into the circle and into the triangle and the star shape and trying to figure out, like, yo, why ain't this working? It looked like this shape should work if I turn it to. We just going to be looking stupid together. I keep telling people, it's like, yo, this is why I keep trying to tell. This is why, again, going back to the black community, this is why a lot of things can't sit up there and progress and move forward. This is exactly why. Because in a lot of instances, you got folks out here, instead of trying to have a positive, like impact with other people that are trying to like move forward, a lot of folks just want to have a negative impact and they want to impede on what it is that people are trying to do. Like I said, and I told people before, there's a lot of stuff, there's more important stuff that should be talked about and should be highlighted. But, you got folks that, in a sense, want me to be here. So, like I said, you keep coming directly through here, keep saying bullshit, you're going to see bullshit. If you think that I basically hate whatnot or whatever, I'm going to basically be what it is that you already deem me to be. That's what I'm going to do. And like I said, some of my moderators, they've been here long enough. Like I said, I've honestly said this. I don't know. God knows how many times I done said this on both normal formats, live streams, whatever. I done said this continuously. And like I said, people don't listen. This is why I sit up there and tell y'all I can say whatever I want to sit up there and say and put whatever information in these long format videos because I know that people are not going to pay attention and listen. And I can say this and I know it's still going to happen. I can say it and people still prove me right every fucking time. Like, yo, what was that main line that they always had in that movie? Are you not entertained? I am. I can't be the only one entertained. yo, yo, that's crazy. Yo, that is crazy. That is crazy. What is it? What else we got? Another black man. He said block that lame. He said, dude, why are you so emotional? Um, I mean, am I emotional? Well, you know what? You know what? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Right? So if folks can pull up on me and be emotional, I guess then in response, I deliver the exact same energy. The craziest part to me is when folks are looking at me and my response and they be like, yo, you should actually do better. Fuck doing better. What the fuck do you think this is? Why am I the one that has to sit up there and do better when I'm not the one who brought this energy to me? I'm simply responding and returning to sender. Like I said, I ain't like everybody else up the fuck up out here that do content. I'm not about to just consistently ignore and try to sit up there and that gets tiring after a while. Trust me, I done did it. I got over probably like 500 to like 1,000 people like blocked on this bitch. It gets tiring. Trust me, I got a backlog of blocks from on this and on Xbox. Trust me, it gets tiring. So then it gets to the point where it's like, all right, I'm just going to entertain. We're all going to be entertained. That's what we're going to sit up there and do. So, like I said before, I keep telling people, whatever energy that you deliver, I'm going to give right back. That's the type of time that I'm on. That's the main consistent type of time that I've always been on. I guess, like I said before, people don't pay attention to the content. People don't pay attention to the content. People don't listen to the words that I put directly up out there. Like I said, it's crazy work. That is wild. You said, "I never knew this is how you felt about black people." I guess. I guess. Somebody said you're way off code. I guess. You said, "You've aligned yourself with your enemy. What does that make you?" So let me be very clear. For the longest time possible, I've had black people up here say that I was already the enemy, no matter what stories that I've covered. Right? I've had black people sit up there and tell me that I don't love myself. I don't love black people. I don't love my family. All of these things, right? All of these negative types of words over the course of these years. But your main, response to what it is that I'm doing, you're like, you've aligned yourself with the enemy. So what does that make you? You just said I was enemy. So why would you then proceed after making that statement to then ask a question? Like I'm a little bit confused. I'm a little bit confused on that. You're off code. Listen to this clown. Somebody said, "How many times have you been to jail?" I mean, I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Somebody said that you're a criminal too, right? I mean, I guess I have had people tell me that I look like a criminal, so I guess that would actually fit. Another person said, same person or whatever. You said, you're a criminal too. You said, I'm a self-hating individual, right? With the R slur. I mean, I guess. Um, let me see. What is it? Another person said you have to use critical thought to get out of situations. Somebody said, you don't have to wait, you don't have to, you like being a bootlicker. I need you to get your sentences together. Like I said, I'm not the best person with like grammar or whatnot, but I'm like, yo, reading some of your stuff really hurts my brain. I'm just gonna be honest. Like I said, I'm not making this up. Y'all can see it directly in front of you. I'm just saying it's not just me. Maybe it might be my frames. I don't know. Uh Judah said whoever typed that novel doesn't have any women clearly. Yeah, yeah. First one says solutions need critical thinking. Yeah. Judah said it's giving Zesty Tether old demon energy. Uh he said deal with him, he's a tether. Egg said you're the biggest failure. I mean, I guess. Uh let me see. Sonny said he favors secrecy because he's a sneaky culture. They hiss like snakes, then panic like cats to play victim. Judah said tether aggression is wild work. Yeah, that's crazy. Dude, Eric said this guy is out there. I get you must feed the machine. I mean, I guess. I guess. Um, but it's like I'm a little bit confused. So to the guys that's critiquing me, I'm not. And again, Sonny, I ain't talking about you, bro. I ain't even talking about. I'm talking about to the other ones that I mainly highlighted that has this critique that's saying this and that. I'm just trying to figure out. So like when I mention the stories, like I said before, about what happens to black women and young black girls and kids in the black community by way of the hands of black men. I'm like, so what are we talking about? This is like I said, I say the exact same things that I speak on live, and people still it goes over their heads and they still go right into their normal this normal type of shit right here. Like it don't even make any type of sense. Don't even make any type of sense. The one solution I gave is to allow black women to sit up there and arm up, and to also have these young black girls out here taking firearms training as well too. Like I said, it's crazy out here. Rabbit said, "I feel you, Seji. My white stepfather is a loser who hasn't achieved anything in his life besides busting an underside of a woman. Doesn't even have the money for a washing machine. That's crazy." So young, what is up? What is up? What is up? What is going on? What is going on? Uh, what is it? D Love says Seji is called accountability. Yeah. So Young said you are speaking facts. Eric said, I guess he thinks if he keeps repeating himself, it will come to be. He's speaking BS. So Young said, no, he's right. It's all too common. Eric said he lives in his own mind. I mean, I guess so. I'm also living on his channel too. Fountain said, you made somebody else mad. Yeah, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. It 100% it be like that. Uh Judah said he wouldn't dare question his Lord Chad. Yo, that's crazy. It's crazy. Fountain said, this the same guy. You talking about in a comment section? I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, people like sitting up there just like pulling up and having, multiple profiles and whatnot. Um Dinese Rivers, yo, what is up? You said blessings. What is up? What is up? Much love, respect, and appreciation. What is it? Sonny said the females in their countries can barely grow up. That's true. That's true. 100%. Um, what was it? Gil said I was ready to fire him up too. Then I thought about it. Yeah. Yo, Prince, what is up? What is up? What up? Yo, why don't y'all? Why is your you don't? Oh, you might be on. Wait, which side is Prince on? Hold on, I'm a little bit confused. Hold on, because I don't see his name is not a color. I got to figure that one out. Yo, Shan, what is up? What is up? Shan was like, this man talking shit again. Yeah, it'd be like that. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Somebody said, wait a minute, are you the same comments? Let me go back up. Hold on, see. Okay, that's where I was at. Okay. Destroy all enemies, speaking facts, live in his own mind, weirdos, different account. Okay, we got Prince. What was it? Mo was like, you can rescue him from the Bermuda Triangle. Yo was like, we're letting Eric live so Cedric can get at him. Somebody said you rescued him. Shit was like, get him Cedric. Because how you fucking gatekeeping your own damn code. Yeah, it's like I said before, it's like for me, this shit is crazy. I'm still waiting for any of these dudes in the comment section. Again, I ain't talking about you, Sunday. I'm talking about the other ones up in here that's sitting up here saying shit. I'm waiting for y'all to give a solution on how black women and these young black girls should be protected. That's what I'm waiting on. Like instead of y'all sitting up there talking shit, I'm waiting on y'all to sit up there and let us all know how that's going to happen. That's all I'm trying to figure out. Somebody says glitching. Oh wow. Let me see solutions. Okay, yeah. So for Jazzy, I finally made it at the bottom. Again, my apologies. So yeah, it was Jazzy one. Okay. All right. Shan was like, the Eric dude is a damn idiot. Frankly, I think he's projecting. He's a damn tether who wants to accuse everyone else of being one. Yo, brother Exile, what is up? What is up? What is up? You said, I don't understand why I come to a channel you don't like for attention. I'm assuming. Yeah. Yo, D Money, what is up? What is up? What is up? You said all proceeds go to the mods, GTA funds. Shem was like, not all that poisoning. They're dumb as hell and stuck in the past. Jazzy One said, can't hear you. Wait, I think my mic is working. Somebody said, shout out to Eric for being weird and zesty. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm just trying to make it through all the comments. Um, what was it? Shem was like, Seji sounds like he's off his rocker, to be honest. Dementia, patience, let loose. Probably needs to be on Shannon Sharp's psyche ward. That's crazy. He's like, said you got male stalkers. It'd be like that. Judah said, I picked up a few cues over the years on the streets, and anyone typing that much is either emotionally invested or mentally defective. Seji. It's a red flag. Yeah, like I said, it'd be like that. Like, because y'all seen it live in action that we had to, get somebody out of the mob position. because they just started talking crazy. And the rest of the mob was like, yo, what is your problem? Like, yo, what is you doing? And I'm like, and I tried to let the person live. I'm like, you know what? Maybe they just having like a bad time, a bad moment. I'm just gonna, let them work through it. And I'm gonna, talk to them like, hey, don't write so much, doing this and that and all this other type of stuff and rah rah. And then they started going towards me. I'm like, all right, that's it. You out of here. I'm like, we're just gonna have to pack it up. Just gonna have to pack it up. Just gonna have to sit up there and pack it up. Cause I'm like, hey, you doing way too much. Doing way too much. Way too much. Brother Exile said, y'all hit. Y'all right. Cross the like button. I was about to read that incorrectly. Jazzy said, yes, button activated. Sham said the whole paragraph is zesty. Pickup line. Tila Rivers said, to whom it may concern, this Black American woman supports your work. Do not worry about what these outsiders think. Gotcha. Jazz said, exactly. This Black American woman supports you as well. Brother Exile said, on the hub text, Max 50 listening. Keep doing you, Seji. Gotcha. Outside said, fire, straight fire. Embrace the villainies. Baby girl said, these same dudes don't have smoke for Kevin Samuels, but they want to mess with you. That's why I said you doing the Lord's work, especially on these tethers. D Love sitting up her laughing. You said I'm multitasking, but I'm listening. I keep kicking myself out on accident. Wait, yo, D Love, how are you doing that? How you kicking yourself out? Sheila Harvey, what is up? What is up? You said hello, fam. I'm late. What's today's topic? I mean, technically, it's just me going off and talking directly about black men. That's pretty much it. Like I said, this has zero to do realistically with black women or trying to put any type of blame or anything like that. It has zero to do with any of that. And that's another reason why, like I said before, numbers when it deals with content and live streams, when I have subjects like this, why it's normally low. Like I said, the greater majority of the people that are subscribed to the platform are men, and a lot of men ain't trying to hear this, and I know that, right? So this is why, like I've done before, I've either done live streams where those folks can pull up and start trying to have this conversation where it's on a solution basis, like, hey, as man to man, like, yo, what's happening with getting rid of a lot of these dudes out here that's doing the wrong things in the black community. But like I said, using this older dude Eric as an example, this is why a lot of these conversations and things don't happen. This is why you got those touchy feely uncles and whatnot still in the black community because of dudes like this. Because they're like, yeah, but that's off code. Like, a lot of stuff is in house, and we really shouldn't be saying that in front of everybody else because everybody else was gonna. Man, I don't got no time for that shit. I don't, like I said, I do not have time for that shit at all. Do not have time for that shit at all. Like I said, certain shit just should not be happening. So it's like, all right, you don't want me to talk about it, but you're not going to tell mainstream media to shut the fuck up and stop talking about it. Like, how that work? How that works? So you gonna tell me as a black man to sit up there and shut the fuck up and stop talking about it, but you're not gonna tell white folks to shut the fuck up. That's what I be talking about. This is what I be talking about. And this is why people be sitting up here saying that too many dudes out here is soft. Cause you got all of this energy for me, but you don't got none of this shit for white people. Like, that's crazy. At least, at least for me, I sit up there and talk directly at white people. I talk to them and at them. I do content. I do all of this. Like I said, like, yo, this shit is wild. Shit is wild. Sam was like, didn't have smoke for most black male commentators who talk about black women. I bet he didn't say shit to Fresh and Fit or Pearl and things. Yeah, I promise you he didn't. I promise you he didn't. D Love said you can tell who don't really be over here, says he. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Baby girl said, yep. Yo, Sag Juan, what is up? What is up? You said Umar not a real doctor, LOL. So to Dr. Seji. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's great. You said Eric may be Tether Gang, LOL. TPS is over, LOL. You said view the report. That's wild. That's wild. Yo, Jay Meadows, what is up? What is up? What is up? Sham said that Eric is probably his troll account. I mean, possibly, possibly. D Love said time to send him off like yesterday. Sham said he already caught the permaban from Mo. Ooh, well, I guess he won't be able. Well, maybe I'll talk about the dude in the comment section, dealing with the live, or I'm not sure if you're actually talking about underneath the video. D Money said a hit dog will holler. Baby Real said I haven't caught a live in a while, but the immigrants on your video commentaries be having me cracking up. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy out here. Like I said, and I do have other videos that this is away from the scheduled programming that I was doing. Because like I said, sometimes you got to take some time out to give other types of content for people to listen to and look directly at, even if people don't show up. Like I said, it's still out there you know. And also shout out for the donos, because this live stream is not going to be monetized. I can tell you that. I've dropped too many curses up out here for monetization to happen directly. It's not happening. I can tell you. They're going to tell me in the back of like, hey, we saw you did this live, but yeah, you dropped too many F bombs. It be like that. So like I said, shout out to those who drop donos in this live stream. Much love, respect. And again, shout out to the patrons as well too. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Sonny said, a problem with you is a problem with me, and that's a problem for me. Much love, respect, and appreciation, man. Much love, respect. D Love said, replying now. Okay, I got you. Sharp said, reading hate comments about yourself be so funny. Yeah, dude. Like I said, I've had different instances where I've made, funny type of content, dealing with it. Other times, like this, you get to the time, you get to a point where it's just like, yo, you doing this again? I'm like, like I said, I already did a video. I think it was probably about like 30 minutes and that was just like going over and just explaining. Again, I was not reading that whole paragraph. Matter of fact, hold on. Look for some of y'all that don't know what it is they're referring to. This ain't the first time that we got a comment. So if you want to see a longer comment, as some people have basically stated a love letter, that would be this. That would be this shit right here, where you got this long, drawn out. Like I said, you might have to take a magnifying glass to read all of this stuff. Like I said, I ain't reading all this. I might have skimmed directly through it. I'm talking about like I started in the middle where it said, what is it? I can't even read it. All of your content, I get whatever that is, because I'm looking at it from the computer screen. It's a little bit small because I got two windows open. But whatever that is at the top sentence, I just looked from there and I just looked down. That's it. So anything that looked interesting, that's what I picked up on. And, I mentioned that directly in that video that I did a response video. Cause like I said, in a lot of instances, I don't feel like trying to do this back and forth typing shit. Like it takes too much effort. I would rather talk. I would have rather just use my voice. The same thing I've been doing for all of these years since 2018. I'll just use my voice. It's a lot easier. Like I said, all of this typing back and forth and nah, I'm good. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. Not doing it, not doing it, not doing it. What was it? D Love said, wait, did Sham write something? Was it? Let's see. Oh, okay, okay. Y'all replying to Sham, got you. You said LOL, the immigrants crying do be kind of funny, especially the ones who can't use Google Translate well. You mad, but it makes no sense. That's true. That's true. Sheila Harvey said, I've been following you on and off for the last year or so. So to me, your content is very informative. Hey, much love, respect, and appreciation. Jazzy said, it's working now. It's my old iPhone 11. Oh, yeah, you gotta yo. So for I'm not sure if she's still here. For Jazzy, you might have to get a newer phone. Because I did do a video a while ago. There was a YouTuber and he brought up the fact how Apple was sued because it was found that with the previous versions of their phone that they would release updates that would slow down, drain your battery, basically make sure that your phone is inoperable so that it would force you to get a brand new phone. So those were the practices that they were doing at that time. And I think your phone might have been caught up directly in that at the moment, because I think you got an iPhone 11. I think what they on now, like a 15 or 16 or 17. So, you know, But yeah, I'll probably say just, if you can, if possible, because I know, everything is high at this moment in time. And I am the type of person too where I like to keep, if it's old and it works, then it works. Trust me, I'm the exact same way. So I get it. I completely understand. The only reason I ended up getting a new phone was because I decided to, move space around on my phone so that it could actually properly update. And the moment I updated my phone, it died. I'm like, wow. So me having all of that space and never letting my phone breathe or update actually allowed it to live past, what it was able to do. Like I said, it's crazy out here. It's 100% crazy. Sham said most of the mods got a sixth sense and we can spot Bermuda residents right away. So he said, I don't know what's going on, but there's been a definite shift. I feel it, and seeing it play out doesn't surprise me, but no one else does. Rationalizing disloyalty is and always will be weird. D Love said, because I was moving around and I accidentally hit the buttons on my phone. Says he, oh, okay. I got you. I got you. Yeah, uh a lot of screens are pretty sensitive. So yeah, I get that. That happens. Sham's like, right. Dudes like this is why our community is stuck. Sonny was like, what is it? You said Ricky Martin cheated on his LGBT husband with his own nephew. Ooh, wait a minute. Didn't I read that story off to y'all before? Because I did remember reading about that. I think that happened about like last year. Was like, I was like, man, that's crazy. I'm like, that's wild how that happened. Um, let me see, what was it? Crazy said, nah, it's a lot of these soft old heads out here just in their feelings most of the time. Yeah, and it's like that, that type of stuff don't make no type of sense. Like you would expect better. You would expect like those would be the main, like I said, this is why I give love and appreciation to the black men that I've known of, that have, in a sense, given me, either words of encouragement or, try to point me into the point me on the right road, trajectory, the right path, or whatnot, or whatever. Like this is why, I give, a lot of praise, directly to them. Because like I said, it'd be a few of them out here. And like I said, especially when I was younger, I really, did my best to try to, talk to like older black dudes out here, don't matter where they were, just to try to get like, some type of insight or, words of encouragement or advice or, basically how to move and all this other type of. So, like I said, can't nobody sit up and tell me that I didn't try. Trust me, I tried I try to literally put myself in conversations just so I can like, conversate with these dudes and try to get, some information, insight, before I reach, such and such age. So, you know. Baby girl says Seji is right up there with Tariq and Malcolm X, my heroes. Hey, much love and appreciation. Much love and appreciation. That's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. That's that's a lot to work towards. That's the way, that I look at it. I got a great many miles, a great deal of, maturity and whatnot to go directly through. Um, in order to get up there. Like I said, it'll take some time, but it's a journey. And hopefully I'm still recording, and doing videos and I can use that so that, hopefully younger dudes out here can, happen to get a little bit of insight and at least view the examples that I have, even if it's the right example, wrong example, or something in the middle. They can learn directly from it and figure out how to move. You know, like I said, people, like I said, a lot of these clowns out here, they don't even understand. It's a whole thing that's happening, and they're probably not even going to be alive long enough to even see it. They're not even going to probably be alive to even see half of it. Just to be honest, you know. Crazy said, that's a whole dissertation that they wrote. Ain't no way. Yep. And I've gotten stuff like that a lot over the years. Let me tell you. Shit was like, I'm still here. That small print is hurting my head. I'm trying to figure out, did it grow longer? That's crazy. Um, this Mo was like, baby girl, you a dude. She was like, no, I'm a girl. Oh man. Um, What is it? Jay said, was there a class action involved in that? I think there was. I think there was a class action involved in that. There's a tech dude that I've watched on YouTube over the years, and he's about everybody here being able to fix their own property because Apple is like, hey, we don't want you being able to fix your own stuff. You got to come directly to us, and nobody else should have the tools or the items or the availability of those items to specifically fix it outside of us. And he's been to court to basically sue for the right to, to fix for the rights of everybody to be able to fix their property, their iPhones, as they see fit. Because, like I tried to tell people before, when it deals with like Apple phones, you don't own them because if you own them, you would actually be able to fix them, yourself. You would have the parts provided in order to do so, no matter what age the phone is. Apple is like, nah, you ain't doing that. You're not about to sit up there and fix a phone that we specifically designate a time of expiration for. We're not allowing you to fix that because we have a business model and we want you to keep buying our phones every single year, no matter what the price is, you know. So yeah, so hopefully for Jay, you were able to, you know, get that part. I think I did. I think I did catch up. That was at like 5:04. You wrote that at like 4:59. Yeah, yeah, yeah. D Love looking. Mo said what was like, okay, says he's my dude, but he ain't no Malcolm X. Seji makes Brian Gumble look like Malcolm X. Jez said, thank you for the information regarding the iPhone. I got you. No problem. No problem. No problem. Jay said, and they wouldn't be messing with it, which is fraud. Yeah. Yep. Like I said before, I ain't trying to sit up there and have people like swap over to like different things. People like the stuff that they like, but I just have problems with certain things like when Apple, I think I brought to you guys a story where Apple specifically made the messaging feature problematic if you wanted to talk to people outside of Apple phones. And I was like, that's weird. I'm like, why would y'all even, do something like that? You're trying to peer pressure people to be into Apple or all this other type of, like I said, and that was a whole conversation at one point where you had, some women online trying to sit up there and say that, you're broke if you don't have an app. I'm like, how did we get here? I'm like, so now having an Apple phone is like a fashion that's not like a statement of I got money. I'm like, I stay broke then. Shout out to Android. Like, I will stay broke to infinity and beyond. Like I ain't doing that. Mm-mm. Nah, I'm good. I don't need to be in that status. Nah, buddy, we do not need to do that. That's wild. Miss Harvey said that's what they're trying to do with cars from. Oh yeah, I touched on that before. Over the years, where pretty much everything is going to be a subscription service, as Mo has commonly stated. In the comment section, bring on Skynet. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. Like I said, there's more present issues that should be talked about and people made aware of. But like I said, I could talk about those issues, and I know the views ain't going to really be there for it. But I've brought up those stories before, and things dealing with robots and AI and all this other type of stuff. Showcase images of pictures of stuff that we got now. Even use my own experience of working in stores and how they lied directly to people, telling them like, "Oh yeah, you'll still have your job," and in these self checkouts, they're not going to sit up there and replace. Yes, they are, and they did. Like I said, these businesses are about making money, and they don't really care about the worker. And the quicker that people can understand and that will register, the sooner that people can actually prepare and start doing what they need to sit up there and do. But can't tell people nothing. D Love said right at Seji. Jay said you pay for it, but it is still theirs. Yep. We, renting everything. Baby girl said, same. I like Android. Yeah. Like I said, I still want to get a one of these days, if things are different, I happen to get a razor, a little flip phone. I miss those. Like I said, I miss when stuff was simple, you know. Not sound like the old folks. I miss simpler times. Back in the days when you can just have, go to the soda shop and get get a Coke and a sundae and da da da. Just listen to the Beach Boys on the jukebox when times were different. Oh man, yo, it's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. Like I said, I like Android because it's more affordable. It has a multitude of different colors. Your colors are not locked behind a price point. You just have colors. Like I said, and even if you don't have colors, you can pretty much, if you actually have the know-how, you can take apart your phone and you can customize it yourself. You can't do that with Apple. It is impossible for you to do that with Apple. They are not going to sell you the casings and the outer layers. And then on top of that, the craziest part, I don't think a lot of people who have Apples actually understand the way internally that they have your phone connected to the case on the inside is so crazy that they make sure that you're not going to just be able to customize and to do this and to do that. Like it's crazy when you watch breakdown videos of Apple phones. I'm like, y'all really did all of this work just so that people can't do what they want to do with this phone. I'm like, that's wild to me. That's 100% wild. Mo was like, "Yep, Skynet is inevitable." Bars. That's bars. Jazzy said the dating rules are sick nowadays. Yep, I brought that up as well too. It's crazy all over the place. Jazzy said I saw that the E word is trying to take over the cell phone provider. I'd rather use a cup and string than use any that involves that man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it happens, like I said, there was I put it to you like this. There was a comic where you had Tony Stark and he was the head of the defense of the planet. There was a invasion or something rather that basically happened. And because Tony Stark is basically, the smart one of the smartest dudes when he deals with tech, the moment in time he got compromised, that also meant that the whole planet's defenses were now compromised. So you can only imagine how that, and again, that was a comic book. So, what I'm saying is if you basically look at that and you look at what's going on here, it's inevitable. Like I said before, it is inevitable, you know. Baby girl said we've been here before. Definitely prefer simpler times. Yeah, yep. Jay said you take it apart and it breaks. Yep, 100%. Miss Harvey said, what do you think the real reason for all the data centers are? Um, being a tech guy, the way that I look at the data centers is that it's a easier way for them to record and to keep track of everybody. Like I said, if they got data centers in all 50 states, sooner or later they'll probably, have that done, or at least in the greater majority. That's a better way for them to keep track of everybody. Like I said, you got the flock cameras attached to other cameras that are able to read certain things. Like I said, the license plate readers can basically track you, right? And then they have another reader that's able to read your Bluetooth connected devices. So it's an all-in-one. So now they don't really need to know you in a sense. They got everything else, right? So whatever you happen to hook up to Bluetooth wise or whatnot or whatever, they know where you are. Like I said, the craziest part that people got to realize is that when it deals with these data centers, once all of this stuff is like up and running and it's finite, you're going to start to see a lot of these 2.0 cities. This is something that I talked about before a little while ago, where the 2.0 versions of the cities is going to be, let's say like Wi-Fi, maybe like 6 or 7. I'm not sure if they'll still like use Wi-Fi 5 by that time, but it'll probably be, well, maybe it might be like Wi-Fi. What is it, like 5E, right? Or and Wi-Fi like 6 and so on and so on. But once they have all of these cities and along with these 2.0 cities, you also have the 15-minute cities. Once they have these things, it'll make it easier for them to basically corral the cattle, which is basically us. So if quote unquote civil unrest, or they tell you like, hey, we got lockdowns, you can't do this and you can't do that, everything is locked down because it's going to be electronically controlled. A lot of the stores, just like Japan, you're going to or Japan or China, you're going to need a cell phone or whatnot and able to in order to access it. Just like in Australia, like I covered 3 to 4 years ago, how in Australia they started taking down the main branches of banks and they put up more ATMs. Which basically, and I think what the ATM limit is, what about like 250,000 or something like that. So if you got a lot of people that need money in the city, $250,000 is not a lot of money, and especially split in between millions of people, that's not a lot of money. And also given the fact that you'll more than likely have people that'll try to, steal those ATM machines, right? So again, if any type of lockdowns happen, then the physical money is locked down. So what does that then leave people trying to get money? Now you got the digital asset. And I told people before that it's going to come to a certain point in time that when it's within the kids that you have now, within their timeline, within our more than likely ours, and especially your kids' timeline, they're going to have a digital card that's going to have multi currencies. And for me, I thought when for me thinking about it, I viewed it as a good thing because you got a variety of ways to use money. But again, like I told people, the bad part about it is that now they have a ledger on what it is that you specifically spend money directly on. And because all of the money is digital, they can then decide to state that, okay, we saw that you bought this, but you're only allowed to buy this certain amount. Or we don't okay you to be able to buy this because of quote unquote certain health reasons or whatnot or whatever. Or better yet, they can have a social credit system that's connected with that digitally. So, like I said, if people saw Black Mirror, right? Art imitates life, life imitates art. And you got a social credit system and everything is digital, they can cut you off directly from your money. And they can also make you a social leper by basically stating that if anybody is near or around this person to socialize with this person, your credit, your social score is going to also go down as well too. So you're going to suffer. So then that's going to make it socially acceptable to not be around said people, ostracizing those people, having them directly in loneliness, on purpose, along with a multitude of other. Like I said, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that that will go wrong, that are going to happen. It's also another way for them to have compliance with people doing certain things that the government specifically tells them to do because they'll be able to monitor. Because remember, for anybody who has a cell phone that you can't take the battery out of, your cell phone is always on. Even when you cut your phone off, it is always on. Right? You can turn your cell phone off right now. The only way that your phone is possibly off is if you let the battery die. Even then, it might still have something internally where it reserves some type of power in order to send a signal. Because, like I said, they build these phones in such a way you don't really know what's in there internally up until you take it apart and you understand the inner workings of it. Right. So again, your cell phone is always on. Computer is pretty much always on unless you unplug it. I'm talking about PCs. Your TV is pretty much always on, right? Because we always have it plugged up. Like I said, they have everything set in such a way that they can monitor and listen to everything. Um, there's even devices because I watched the video on YouTube. There's devices that are capable of basically seeing through your house by way of your Wi-Fi connection, right? It can basically use your Wi-Fi connection in your house in order to basically get a read of what is in your house or your very movements in your house. Like this is why I kept trying to tell people technology is a very interesting, crazy thing, and it's a double-edged sword. And and how things can specifically be used. So, like I said, it was at a point in time that if I were to, explain this stuff to people, let's say like in '06, people look at me like I was crazy. But now we're living in that time. We're living in that time where what was once thought to be something out of this world is now a reality. So, like I said, it can only get worse from here. Like I said, if they can use your Wi-Fi connection to basically get a reading inside of your house, to basically see through your walls to read inside of your house, just imagine what they can do with your cell phone. Imagine what they can do directly with your car with a lot of these cameras. They don't even got to see directly in your car. You know, like I said, it's crazy out here. Um, so like I said, I feel like the AI centers it's a lot of things. On top of the fact that it may uh allegedly, supposedly cause different types of issues environmentally, right? Because like I said, I've covered stuff previously in the past where I've had to be very careful with words because automatically they were like, "Hey, if you say this, and that, and this, da, 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 da," right? So you got to be very careful with words. Um, so the best way I can sit up there and put it is potentially causing environmental, issues of potential scarcity in certain areas, which will then cause stressful search situations for people that normally wouldn't be stressful. Um, on top of other things, like I said before, there are videos out there where you have people that live near data centers and they talk about the noise, the noise that you can hear, and then they also talk about the low frequency rumbles and noise that you can't hear that animals, and plants and stuff like that can feel and hear. And people were explaining how that would have an effect on the ecosystem, right? So that could be anything from like the squirrels, which do their own little thing with like the nuts and the berries and all that other type of stuff, to let's say like earthworms, birds, bees, and different things of the sort. So, like I said, it's multifaceted situation, multifaceted situation, and we're not going to really, in a sense, see the full effects at this point. It's going to take quite a bit of time. It might be sooner rather than later, but it's still going to take some time. It's not going to be instant. Like I said, look at a lot of small towns where some of these some of these data centers are. I look at the town hall meetings. Like I've watched videos. Just like when I tried to give a warning out there to people where the main first stopgap in having a lot of this Wi-Fi, this open free Wi-Fi going around was in these rich suburbs. And those rich folks, it was like, yo, we don't want this here. Y'all need to take this down. We want this directly out of our community because it's doing this and that and all this other type of stuff. And like I said, they tried that out there first. I know why they did it out there because they were like, hey, we can do it out here because ain't nobody gonna do nothing to it. I get that part. But also at the same time, um, they did it because they probably sold it to them as a certain type of thing. Um, and I view those types of stories like the same thing dealing with the smart meters. And I covered that when when it dealt with a variety of things, such as like California and stuff of that nature, in a variety of other places. So you can look directly into that, go down that rabbit hole and look into that. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that people need to be made aware of and things that should be talked about repeatedly so that it can catch on, that people can see the things that's going on in front of their faces. Like I said, there was a field of videos. I might even posted some where folks were talking about like, yo, back during the pandemic, everything wasn't shut down because you had people out here doing a lot of work. They were putting up a lot of stuff because people like when they finally came outside, they were noticing some stuff was looking different. I'm like, yo, I never noticed that before. Like, where did that come from? Like, that wasn't there. That wasn't sitting there before. So it's a lot of stuff. Jazzy said, "I'm tired of America being ran as a D movie with sick plots." Jay said, "15-minute cities." Yep. Miss Harvey said, "To monitor us while they're underground." Yep. Jay said, "It's going to be Escape from New York." Miss Harvey said, "Limiting what you can buy." Yep. Jay said, "USB plugs can have chips in them as well." Hey, Pink, what is up? What is up? What is up? Much love, respect, and appreciation. Jay said, "I keep my phone's microphone off." Well, the best way I can sit up there and say is like the best way to cut off anything on your phone is to actually cut it off. Like you would have to like actually take it off. This is why when I told y'all before about the phone, it was a small phone company. It was back, woo, I want to say maybe about like 5 years ago. There was a small little company. I want to say call them in a sense like a startup. It was a small little company, and they had this modular phone. So just in case if people don't know what a modular phone is, that basically means that you can build your phone. So the front is your screen, right? I think even a screen might have been replaceable as well too, but I'm not too sure how intricate or how in depth they went directly with that. But if you want a bigger battery size or a smaller battery size, if you want a larger camera, if you wanted more RAM, like I said, whatever other things you wanted to do to the phone to soup it up, to supercharge it, you were able to do it because it was modular in how it was built. What ended up inevitably happening, which normally happens, is a big company such as I think during the time it was Google, they bought it. And I was like, okay, well, Google bought it, so that just means that they're going to implement that in their phones, soon enough. And I'm like, yo, that's going to be revolutionary. That'd be great. All this other type of stuff. And I have yet to sit up there and see Google do anything with it. And I'm like, huh, I understand now. Because in a lot of instances, you got companies that see the promise within, or they see the promise and they see the competition within other things, and they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. It's so good, in fact, we're going to buy it and we're going to shelf it. So, like I said, I'm not sure how much those people, got. They might have gotten a pretty penny because I haven't heard nothing about that company since. So they must have got paid. Google was like, hey, we're going to break you off this check real quick. Never do this again. It was like, never do it again. If you come up with another good idea, come our way, we'll pay you. Don't go to Apple. That type of deal. Um, but this is why I set up there and said that it would be best if it deals with America, when it deals with business, if there was more competition, especially when it deals with like phone and tech and everything in the sort, because it's better for business because it will force businesses to not be stagnant and actually do better. Because I'll put it to you like this: the one area of which I used to actually like Apple and I wanted an Apple was the older computers from like the 2000s where they had colors. Like that was the one thing I love. I'll tell you this, and that's something that a lot of the newer generation don't know nothing about. When you look back at the 90s and the 2000s, you had color. Like you had vibrant colors, and then for some odd reason, all of that died off, and everything became stale colors. It became real stagnant. It became just like all of these mute, you know, whatever colors. Like I said, whenever Sony happens to bring out a console, it's the colors are just the same, and they don't really want you customizing it. Xbox, on the other hand, it's like they come out with the same colors, but they're like, "Hey, we don't care if you modify your console. We got stuff out there where you can sit up there and do it, or we got third parties, and we're not going to stop them from doing it, nor are we going to sue them." Sony's like, "Yeah, that's a good idea for you to come out with not only skins, but you got faceplates for the PS5. That's a very great idea. So good that we probably didn't come up with it first, so we're going to sue you and give you a cease and desist and to make sure you never do it again." And then Sony was like, "Hey, what we're going to do now is, hey guys, we got these brand new great face plates, and they come in a variety of flavors and colors." I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like I said, to be able to be alive and to watch that happen in real time is insane. Is 100% insane. It's crazy. I'm like, yo, it's wild. It's why, like I said, the stuff that a lot of these companies do to the consumers is insane, and the stuff that they do to make sure that people are just locked in to just this type of stagnant, stale type of product is insane as well too. Apple needs to get back to the if Apple really wants fresh blood and the people to really, buy their stuff, just need to bring out colors. As soon as you bring out a phone, have 10 colors. Have it looking like a Crayola box, from middle school. Have 10 to 12 colors. Everybody will love it. That's all you got to do. Like I said, give people what it is that they want. And you can still do the stuff that you want. Same thing with PlayStation. PlayStation, I feel like they're a shitty ass company to an extent, but it's like, all right, if you still want to be shitty, okay, cool, fine. Give the people a little bit of what it is that they want. You can pacify the people, and they'll be fine and dandy. That's all you got to sit up there and do. 'Cause like I said, at the end of the day, a lot of people like, yo, I don't want things to be stressful. So the easiest thing to have happen or for these companies to do is just to give them a little bit of something, and then people are fine. Like I've seen it so many times. So many times by the way these companies can do everything wrong, but if they implement just something that the people want, everybody cheers as if, heaven, the gates of heaven just opened up and everybody just like piling in having a party, you know? D Love said, "Yep." D Love said, "I think AI is going to fail, in my opinion." I mean, it's possible. It is possible, but before that happens, you gotta have the T1000 pull up. You gotta have AI running amok, all across the planet. On top of the fact of AI in combination with robotic shells, you gotta have that happen. So before AI, in a sense, fails, all of that has to take place. You know, humanity has to be on the brink of extinction. All of that. Nice stuff. Shem was like, the amount of death is going to happen when they cut those chips out of people. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yep. Jay said, "LOL." They buy them to get rid of the competition. Facts. Jay said, "Happen in medicine too." Oh yeah. Yep, yep, yep. D Love said, "Yep, that is crazy. It is 100%." Like I said, I've been even when it did, 'cause like I told y'all before, I'm a gamer. So a lot of the stuff that I'm looking at tech, I've already seen it before. It just was on a smaller thing dealing with gaming. So in instances such as, let's say, like DLC, which is, downloadable content, the only reason it got as bad as it is at this moment in time is because a lot of folks did not want to put their foots down and they didn't want to speak with their wallets. Um, a while ago, I remember explaining to friends, I'm like, "Yo, if you buy this DLC from EA after they didn't just jacked up this game, or whoever did it after they done jacked up this game, it's going to set a precedence, and it's going to yell out to the rest of these corporations that, hey, you can fuck this up. All you have to do is bring out some DLC and do this and do that, and everybody will love you." And they did it. And then as soon as they did that, every other company's like, "Yeah, we're about to be doing DLC. And we're gonna start out low, but then over time we're gonna start supercharging for a lot of this DLC. It's gonna be an arm and a leg directly for a lot of this stuff." And they did it. Like I said, if you do it in increments, people will be fine. If you do it just in a huge push, people are going to, be resistant. Case in point, you could look at Xbox. Xbox did everything wrong the initial time when they wanted to do an increase to Game Pass. So I think it was about like 30 or $33, right? And then once that basically happened and they started losing money, they were like, "Yo, we got to sit up there and do something quick." So during that time, this is when you still had Bill Spencer and the other lady directly up there, and they were like, "All right, we're going to sit up there and get them up out of here quick, fast, in a hurry. We're going to, pay them directly off." They probably had to sign an NDA and not be able to talk about, Xbox or whatever for such and such amount of years, and probably had to sign a no competition clause as well too, so they can't just like move around with all the information that they have up until a certain point in time. And then this is that's the black lady's name. Her name was Sarah Bond, and I actually liked her too. I thought, Sarah Bond was actually, kind of cool. I, thought she was, all right. It was everybody else that technically had a problem. But now you got Asha Sharma, who was there, who was the replacement for Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer. And now they were like, all right, we're reversing what they did with Xbox, and we're gonna put Game Pass back down to I think it was like 22 or $24. Everybody cheered, everybody was ecstatic, everybody was happy. And then they made some other, changes and different things of that sort. So that's why I set up there and said before, I know the stuff that I'm talking about because I watched it. I watched it so many times on on just smaller levels. And I know what's going to work and what is not going to work. Like I said, you can't sit up there and in a sense, quote unquote, push people off a cliff. You have to just slowly but surely, just like, ease them directly to the cliff. that's, that's, that's how it works. Like I said, like look at business. Look at all of these corporations and how it is that they're slowly nudging people out of the cars that in a sense will last for 50 years to now using cars that are not going to last that long, and that you're going to have to sit up there and lease, and you're not going to have full ownership over because a lot of these corporations are going to own them. They're going to have AI directly in these vehicles that will know how awake are you if you're inebriated. And then depending on your body position and where your eye adjustment is when it deals with the camera inside of your car, the car will start to slow down in traffic and it'll pull you to the side of the road. It might not even be nothing wrong with you, but you're not going to have control over your car. I can promise you that. And like I said, people are going to fully understand that by the time I kept telling people 2030, 2035, people are going, it's going to be a wild ride. Like I said, people are going to understand by that time. It's going to be too late, but people are going to understand by that time. All of the transitions that are going to happen. Like the story I gave to people when it dealt with New York and how during the Biden administration they had something implemented. They had a bill or whatnot or whatever implemented when it dealt with New York specifically, where uh they were going to get rid of the gas stoves, and by a certain timeline they were going to be replaced with electric. And I told people that that's a very dangerous thing because if anything happens, if a real bad storm happens, gas you can always normally have, right? No matter what happens, all you got to do is just have like a lighter or a match or whatever, and you can, light that gas up and you can boil water, you can cook food and everything. If something happens and your stove is electric and the power is out, it's over for you. You're not going to have no way to sit up there and feed yourself or to boil water for a boil water advisory. So now what does that mean? That now means that you're dependent on your local city or your government to do what needs to be done, which then also means that they can gouge you, they can supercharge you. That also means that you got to wait until in these long lines and all this. That also means that you got to fight with other people. You got to deal with their emotions and everything that comes directly with that. That also means that you're going to have civil unrest, and if you have civil unrest, that then means that you're going to have martial law. If you have martial law, that then means that you're going to sit up to have a curfew, and now you're stuck. Like I said, all from one thing, the dominoes are going to fall from one thing. And then it gets worse when you add in these 2.0 and these 15-minute cities. So, Jazzy said, have to run. Peace and blessings to everyone. Yep. Much love, respect, and appreciation. And thank you for your time. Mo said, yep, it's been Destiny 2 for like 15 years. Yep. D Love said, yep, it's a wrap. D Love says straight snowball effect. Shem was like they threw out a lot of these data centers to try and get ahead of the market. However, it's stupid and they don't need this amount, and they really messed up how they made them. Yeah. And the craziest part is I was just talking to somebody recently. It was Officer Haku, aka Brandon B. World, and he was stating how one of I think it was Nvidia. Yeah, it should have been Nvidia, not AMD, but they swapped how the what they need to cool down. So instead of them using water, they use something else. And a lot of these data centers, they're just going to sit up there and keep on a whole thing of like quote unquote water or whatever you want to sit up there and call it. Like I said, there are always more effective ways for them to cool off these chip centers and to do a lot of these things. They opt to not do that. So I put it to you like this, right? Like I told y'all before, how in black towns and cities, in the smaller ones, they have these factories that pour out like a lot of carcinogens and pollution. The main thing I told people before is that in order to test out or to try anything to make sure that it would work on a grander scale, they try it, quote unquote, on the strongest. So in a lot of these black communities in these small towns, just like with the Tuskegee and many other experiments that were happening in the United States, they tested out on black people first because they know in general America's not going to care. They view, black Americans as throwaways and all this other type of stuff. So they're not going to value it. Right. So they'll do stuff first. So they'll put up these factories that release the smog and these toxins and all this other type of stuff in the air, but they're doing it for a twofold reason. Technically more than that. Multitude. Now I got to take off my glasses when I do it. So number one, they're doing it for the land because a lot of folks down there down south, they have land ownership. So if they're not going to sell their land, they're going to get them off the land one way or another. Either they can't stand the toxins, right? And then they was like, all right, I give up, I'm moving away, or they pass away due to health ailments, right? The other thing that they're doing is, like I said, with the very first one, is to deal with the population. Two ways. Technically, like I said, it's a multifaceted thing. Number one, the older the generation is, the less resistant they're going to be directly to the pollutants, and the quicker that they're going to go. And also to go after the elders in the black community is to basically burn down a library, because they're the ones that have a lot of information and knowledge of the past. And usually what happens in the past will happen again in the future, but the future won't know what the past was if there's nothing to read from the past, if there's nothing to hear directly from, if there's no messages from the past, right? Then on top of that, dealing with the population, with a lot of these carcinogens and these toxic chemicals and whatnot that get put into the water and the air and the ground, it affects reproduction. So it's a very beautiful way of population control, to make sure that a population will stay at a certain percent, or at a certain amount, right? So like I said, it's a multifaceted situation. There's probably some other things I'm missing that I would love to mention that I just cannot get at this moment in time. But like I said, it's a multifaceted situation with this. So this is how I view a lot of these brand new structures and everything like that being built, and how it's going to affect things on a grand scale. But like I said before, you're not going to hear about nothing right now. Just wait. As soon as it starts affecting white folks, that's when you're going to start hearing it, because you're not people aren't going to care what's happening to black people or in those black towns in those cities, and how it has a negative effect. People aren't going not going to care, but like, that's not my people. I don't care about them, da da da, all this other type of but people are going to want everybody to care the moment in time that it starts affecting the white community, when it starts affecting that population, when it starts affecting their health, their longevity, everything of the sort. That's when they were like, yo, everybody needs to be worried. Everybody needs to care. This is what they're doing to us. That's when people want to start saying us. They don't want to say us when it first starts within the black community and they're testing it out. And that's why I try to get through it. And I try to tell a lot of folks, especially white people and many others, I'm like, hey, y'all better sit up there and pay attention. You might not like black people, but you better sit up there and pay attention to what's happening, because I keep sitting up there telling people, in order for them to get what it is that they need to get, and how it needs to be done and to perfect it, they're always going to test it out on black people first. They ain't testing it out on nobody else first. They're going to test it out on black people. They're going to do the tried and true method that they've always set up there and done historically. But like I say, you can't tell nobody nothing. You know, can't tell nobody nothing at all. I kid you not. Kid you not. Yep. You say, yep, test it on them first. Yep. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But yeah, that's enough of my conspiracy theory rambling. At this moment in time. Technically, I think originally the live stream was supposed to go probably for about 45 to 50 minutes. But it went a little bit longer. So, and then I gotta more than likely, put this directly out, put another video out directly for you guys as well too. It's probably going to be one of the it's going to be three, wasn't it three videos, because he did one video and then he had two other videos which I combined. Yeah, so it's going to be one of the other guys that was a tether who wanted to say XYZ about black Americans, and now looking at what he has to deal with in a sense, after doing all of that hot type of talk. The other thing, so I did have somebody ask me in the live stream. It was like, "Yo, what did he specifically state about Black American women?" I can't specifically quote it or give it directly to you because I didn't see that video. Um, like I said, the only thing that I can do is just note that it was a black woman in the comment section that gave a reply, and matter of fact, because I'm talking about, I'll make sure to put that comment and go over that in the response video that I'll do after I get done with the live stream. But yeah, like I said, a lot of folks are going to learn the hard way, and how it is that they should have listened to Black Americans, and how important it is that when we speak, that people just shut up and listen. You know. But anyways, much love, respect, and appreciation. Shout out to any and all of y'all that pulled directly up again. My apologies, not being able to get to y'all earlier, during the parts of the stream where y'all were replying, responding back and whatnot. The browser was stuck on my end, and I only saw about 4 to 5 comments. So I'm sorry about the late, responses and things of the nature. So that's why it took me a little bit more time, and how the live stream, technically stretched to about 2 hours and 30 minutes, where it was only supposed to be probably about like 50 to 55 minutes. Shem was like, I'm still waiting on Elder Scrolls 6. Oh yeah, yeah, I think that's 2027 though. From what I remember hearing, like I think they showed off, just like it wasn't like full-fledged footage, but it just showed you like the nature aspect in the areas like around. It looks beautiful for the next Elder Scrolls. It looks beautiful. And I'm not even a person that's played Elder Scrolls. But no. Actually, no. I'm lying. I did play Elder Scrolls Online. I'm lying. I did play that. Like towards, like technically it was like during the pandemic. I did play that. I did. I played that. I played Neverwinter, Black Desert, and a few other ones that fit within, sort of kind of, that whole thing or whatever. So, but yes, a lot of games all of us are waiting for. Let me it's a lot of games, a lot of games. D Money said it's cool. Said you just buy the mods, a copy of GTA 6 and we're good. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That's some wild work. Everybody not a gamer though. That's the thing. I don't even think Sonny I didn't even ask if Sonny was a gamer. Wait, is Sonny a I'm not even, I don't even think Sonny might be a gamer. I know Mo said he's not a gamer. He'll watch, like he like watching, like games here and there depending on what it is, but I don't think he really a gamer like that. Maybe like earlier on, he might have been, but I know D Money, a gamer, Sham, Tippy, Gail is a retired gamer. She used to game. Last I think system she had, I think from what she told me was like a 360. Um I know Pink, she's the whole Pink household is gamers. Um I think what is it? Miss Anderson. I know she's a gamer. Um who else? Who else? Who else? I know we got a few more. Oh, I know Third is a gamer as well too. What this man Mo? Nah, I don't even believe this man Mo was like, yeah, I'll come back for GTA. Man, you say you don't even got a game system. What system you talking about? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Sam was like, I played the hell out of Elder Scrolls, and I don't like online games too much though. Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. But which Xbox? If you're talking about like a 360 or an Xbox One, I'm like, brother, it's not happening. It is not happening, brother. Let me tell you, it's not playing. That Xbox is going to burn up as soon as you try to play GTA 6. The graphics are going to be too strong. The power will be too great, my friend. Too great. Let me see. The money said, okay, we'll just buy me a copy. Okay, so Bushido, all right, Bushido. I think what was the other brother? It was Captain Sony Pony. I haven't seen him here in a minute. Um, but I know he's a gamer. What is it? Pink said they got PS5, Xbox One, and Lenovo. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You did just get your gamer laptop. That's right. That's right. Um, man, that's why I can never take. I can't even read this man's comments. I can't. Nope. Because everything always it's always like meanings on here. It's some crazy way. This man knows what he's writing before he writes it. He writes it on purpose. It's every time. Every time. But yeah, this man talking about on Xbox. You would need like a series X. Would it be is it crossplay though? That hold on, let me see something real quick. Well, I technically me checking to see if it's crossplay, it wouldn't even matter because online is not going to pop up. I mean, let's see. So it's coming out in November. They're gonna let it sit from November to December, and probably about I say January, February. That's when the online is gonna come out for GTA 6. That's probably what they're gonna do because they're gonna give people the game, let them play it. Everybody's gonna make content and go directly through it, find this and find that, and all this, go through the city and whatnot or whatever, and then they'll drop the online. That's probably what they're gonna do. Most said GTA gang, not real. No, I can't see every time I'm used to like reading your comments, I can't take it serious because this man always saying some stuff. Every time this man always saying something like, he said, I'm like, nah. But I got you though. Bushido said, I told my daughter who's a gamer that if you don't look at your gaming purchases like this, you're not a gamer. Yo, yo, Shauna, what is up? What is up? What is up? Let me tell you something that I miss so much when it deals with gaming. I miss midnight releases. Like I still remember doing midnight releases for Smash Brothers Brawl. I remember Melee. I remember Halo 3. Um, I think I might have been there for Call of Duty, Gears of War, possibly, and maybe like a few other midnight releases. Like I miss that. Like I said, I miss being able, in a sense, to have those interactions with like people that you just don't know. Like people, like a lot of newer generation will never understand what it's like to stand in line. Like it's like you and like let's say like 100 other guys directly there, and all of y'all are there. The same goal is like, yo, we're about to play this Modern Warfare 2, or we're about to play, Halo 3 and all this other type of stuff. And everybody's talking about, their strats or what it is, if they're going to start off on campaign or if they're going to start off on multiplayer first, or if they're like whatever it is. Like I said, like friendships, bonds were forged, during that time. You know, um, like I said, a lot of stuff from the old I wish was actually still around. But also I know for a fact, dealing with, in a sense, the society that we have at this moment in time, it'll be difficult to do that. Like people was at the point in time, people were safe to go to a midnight release. And like let's say you were doing a midnight release for a console or something like that. You were able to walk out of the GameStop with your console and walk to your car and pretty much be fine. Did you have instances on the news where somebody might have got like robbed for their stuff? Yeah. Or a fight happened, yeah. But it wasn't like something that would happen every single time, every single day. At this point in time, that would be something I feel like that would happen every day. Like anytime that a release for a console it would just be like goofies just being out there, just like being stupid, just waiting to get on somebody. I'm like, yeah, nah. So like I said, the past. I miss it. I miss it so much. D Love said, "Yep, it's not safe anymore." Yep. Rabbit said, "As Seji, you've seen that video of what Dean the Great, a grown man influenced by teenagers thinking a young woman was trans. You're a grown man being influenced by teenagers on stream." Oh no, that wasn't no. Well, no. I don't think that was Dean the Great. No, the one I thought you were talking about that one white boy. What's his name? Clava. His name is like Clav or some shit like that. Whatever it is, like however they set up there and named him. I thought you were talking about him because they had a whole thing earlier this week where he was over in Europe, and supposedly the person that he kissed was not the person that he thought he kissed or whatnot or whatever, and it was on stream. And it was looking crazy. He was looking real crazy. I'm like, ooh, I'm like, that's wild. Looking real wild. And then it was something else that happened along the same lines. Oh yeah. The whole story with Chud the Builder and the other person that wanted to, come out and basically speak. Like I said, that's two individuals that came out and basically spoke on Chud the Builder, releasing some information. And I'm like I said, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all at this moment in time. Like I said, it's already two. Yeah, one which was the black girl that came out and she was basically talking about, Chud was over there and she fed him and all this other type of stuff. And how they used to get down, and then you got another individual that was like they used to date or do all this other type of stuff, and then went over some text messages. I'm like, wow, that's looking crazy for a lot of these, folks directly up out here. Pink says, Seji, did you see the clip from RDC asking about Elden Ring? No, no, no. I don't think I saw that. I saw Mighty Keith talking about the GTA. I saw the video of him that he did about GTA. That video was funny. That video was funny. That was a funny video. But yeah, I ain't see the RDC one yet though. Mo said, I'm buying a console when GTA drops. We can form an organization. All right, you know, I'll do it. Like I said, I told people before, I've never in my life really played GTA. I was more of a person that played driver. But due to the effect of GTA and how this is going to be one of the biggest games this side of the century, I'm like, I got to be there. I got to be there. Like I said, I held out on a boycott on GTA for a very long time since I was younger because of certain things I just didn't like about the game. But I'm like, hey, me sitting up there boycott and not playing it, it didn't matter because GTA was still there, it was still present, and it's whatever. So I'm like, hey, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So I'm like, all right, I'm retiring my boycott of GTA, and I'm gonna, be there with everybody else. I'm gonna be there with everybody else. D Money was like, Driver was decent. Yeah, I just liked it because it was pretty straightforward. It wasn't all of this extra type of stuff and whatnot. Because like I said, uh, being in school, I used to always hear guys there sitting up there explaining what they would be doing on GTA. I'm like, dog. I'm like, and I'm looking at, I'm like, so if you were able to do this in real life without any consequences, you would actually do it. Like I said, I had to start looking at people different. I'm like, yeah, I can't, I can't get down with this. I'm sorry. I'm like, nah, 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 nah. I'm like, I can't do it. Can't do it. But like I said, I had my little boycott for a long time. It didn't matter. So when in Rome. When in Rome. When in Rome. Mo said, that's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah, I got you. I got you. D Love said boycotts are effective because it takes one person to start and to start it and stand up. I mean, well, I stood on that boycott for a lot. Like I said, I never had a GTA. Never had. I might have seen or heard of other people basically playing it, but me myself never had a copy at all. I might have, read some stuff in Expert Gamer, Game Informer, and all the other type of stuff, but yeah, never did it. Not at all. D Love said I'm still boycotting Walmart for almost 5 years. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. I got you. I got you. See you out here standing 10 toes down against Walmart. What is it? You say you sent the clip on. Where's my phone at? Oh, I got you. Let me look at this real quick. Let me see here. I don't actually get notifications. Let me see what they say. Bitcoin just hit 60K. Oh, that must have meant it was below 60 then. Ooh, that's crazy. That is wild work. The craziest thing, wait, they said Insider Gaming, Sony closing select PlayStation stores in 2026 and 2027. Ooh, that's all bad. I didn't even know. I don't even know where Sony stores are even located. Wait, what they mean select PlayStation stores? I gotta see what that is. Hold on, let me see that. Do they mean physical stores? Then I got another one up here says PlayStation will delete over 500 purchase movies without, I guess, notification. See, where are these? These got to be like some locations in California, something like that. PlayStation Store has been a long has long been Sony's core digital storefront for games and associated media. Da da da. It's the backbone. Following the shocking news that Sony will stop producing physical discs for the new PlayStation games in 2028, we've now learned that some of the brand's PlayStation stores are about to be shut down for good. So Sony says goodbye to PS3 and PS Vita PlayStation stores. Oh, that's not good. Woo, that's wild. Yo, D Money, did you know about that? Yo, that is wild. And you know the craziest part is I never had a PS3. I never had a PS3 at all. That was the generation I skipped that. That was my other boycott. What I did on Sony, I was like, I'm boycotting this. I'm not buying a PS3 or even trying to because I don't like that. It's like, all right, you're going to bring out a PS3, but then in PlayStation Magazine, roughly within that same year to two, you're going to talk about you're already working on the PS4. That's disrespectful. I'm like, I can't get down with a company like that. I'm like, y'all moving wild out here. I'm like, yo, this is why I tell people like people got to start reading and start looking at a lot of this stuff because it'll tell you if these companies, I mean, companies again don't care about the consumer, but it'll really tell you how much they don't care, right? And like I said, PlayStation. I wish I still had that book at this moment in time because I would read you verbatim directly from that article. Like I said, that was wild. That was straight wild. So now Sony is about to shut down the PS3 and the PS Vita stores. That's crazy. So like I said, so much for backwards compatibility. So the only backwards compatibility that you're going to have is PS4. So it's PS4 on up. Like that don't make any sense. Like if you want to shut down the PS3 and the PS Vita store, you might as well shut down the PlayStation, the original PlayStation and PlayStation 2 store. You might as well shut that down too. Because it makes no sense to have three. So you're going to have PlayStation and PlayStation 2 games up there, skip over three, and then just move the 4 and 5. That's stupid. That don't make any sense. Now you're making it seem like that part of the console generation didn't even exist. Like, what is that? So supposedly, so if you look up the story, because I got it on my phone right now, Sony's going to be closing the PS3 and the PlayStation Vita PlayStation stores. So it goes as quoted said, after nearly 2 decades of supporting the PS3 console generation, we wanted to let you know that we will be closing the PlayStation Store on PS3 as well as the PlayStation Vita. PlayStation stores on PS3 will close in selected markets starting this year, followed by global closures for PS3 and PS Vita next year. This means new content purchases will no longer be possible once the PlayStation Store closes on these devices. To ease the transaction, players will still be able to download previously purchased content after the closing date for the foreseeable future. As the PlayStation Store continues to evolve to support modern commerce systems, include updated payments, processing standards, PS3 and PlayStation Vitas are no longer able to support these updates at this level required. As a result, we will need to close PlayStation stores on these devices in the time frames that follows. In all countries, PlayStation stores on the PS3 and the PS Vita will close in July of 2027. Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, PlayStation stores on PS3 will close starting in August of 2026. So theirs is actually closing early if they got the PS3 and everything of sort. Additional Latin America and Middle Eastern countries, PlayStation stores on PS3 will close starting date of late 2026. And it appears the PlayStation 4 storefront will remain, which makes sense as the old gen hardware continues to receive new releases, although they are lessening as the years go by. So just as they're closing down the PS3 and the PS Vita stores, sooner than later, they're going to start closing down the PS4 because what Sony's trying to do is that they're trying to get people as quick as possible off of those consoles onto the newer ones. And they're really trying to get people off of the PS4. They're trying to get the PS4 up out of here. This is why they got the PS5. You got the standard issue PS5 disc. You got the disc-less PS5. You got the PS5 Pro, and then they're going to give you the PS6. So, like I said, they're trying to move people directly over. Sony really does not want people still playing on PS4. That's the one thing I've understood for the longest time possible. So one way or another, they're going to get people up off of this PS4, just like they got people up out of that PS3. Mo said I'm buying the Xbox. I buy American. D Money said, know about what? Rabbit said, I want you all to remember when humanity is dying because of hunger and gasping for breathable air. Tell everyone it's white people. It's their fault because of climate change. Mo said GTA is going to be crossplay. I can look that up real quick. Let me see. Will GTA be crossplay? Uh, They said Rockstar has not officially confirmed crossplay for GTA 6. Industry analysis and community census suggests that while PS5 and Xbox Series X and S crossplay is possible, full crossplay between consoles and PC is highly unlikely due to modding, cheating, and Rockstar traditional approach to online platforms. Yeah, that's true as well too. Because the moment in time, like crossplay, if they were to do crossplay with GTA, it could only be console. Because PC messes it up technically for everybody because you got a lot of people that like to do a lot of stuff on there. So like I said, console to console, it might happen. I wouldn't mind that. Like I said, if it's, I've always said that that should just be a thing. Like I said, this whole console war thing, make it an actual war. Allow the games that are competitive to be on all systems, and for everybody to sit up there and duke it out to say who's the best. Just do it like that. But yeah, we don't got any word on it at this moment. What was it? Rabbit said we had a bad harvest here in Europe because of record temperatures. Yeah, I heard about some of the temperatures. I think it was like up there in like in France. You had people that ended up passing away. D Money said it makes sense talking about the transition, like how they're trying to, get people off the previous systems. Yeah. D Love said, yep. And they think they slick. Tether said Sony sucks and they got too greedy. D Money said, I hope it is not crossplay. Like, I wouldn't mind it being like if it's Xbox and PlayStation, I'm fine with it being crossplay. Like I said, that's a classic rivalry right there. I feel like with a lot of games, it should always be an Xbox versus PlayStation rivalry. That would move sales. That would keep things on. Like I said, these companies are stupid. Like there's a lot of things out there that can really bolster sales, and they just refuse to either feed into it or to just lean into it. Like it's crazy. They always talk about they want to make money, but again, they don't want to listen to the people. They can do very simple things. They can just tweak something just a little bit, and then a faucet of money will just start running that they can't cut off. Well, like I said, I guess they don't really like money as much as they say. Mo said, "Yep." Console only. I got you. Rabbit said, "You didn't miss out on the PS3. Too many issues. Never seen anyone remember the PS3 fondly. People with the PS3 tend to have either money or mental issues or both." Wow, that's crazy. that's, that's diabolical. That is diabolical. But like I said, shout out to my gamers out here. Like I said, some of the stuff that I see, Sony doing is quite egregious. And like I said, I do have a PS5, but I barely use it. Uh, like I said, there's games I want to get, but I don't agree with them only specifically like the Wolverine game. I think at this moment in time, that's only PlayStation. I'm like, that's crazy. The brand new Capcom fighting game that's coming out at this moment in time, foreseeable future, is only on PlayStation. To me, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I don't know what y'all doing on that. But I mean, hopefully the sales, hopefully everybody who was a part of the PlayStation ecosystem will support that fighter. Because like I said, like I said, I don't know what Sony doing with some of these IPs. I really don't. Really, really don't. D Money said I'm cool with console crossplay, but not with PC. They ruin everything. Yeah, they do. They do. D Money said I still play my PS3. You know, all I hear is that Titanic song right now. where the dudes are like playing the music when the ship is going down. That's all I hear because I'm like Sony is like we don't care nothing about people still being on PS3. We getting y'all up on out of there, and I'm like, ooh, like that's diabolical. That's some crazy work, diabolical in nature. Mo said I agree. No PC crossplay. Yo, that's the way I felt like. That's how I wanted it to be on shooters. On shooters and fighters, I always wanted it to just be, PlayStation versus Xbox. Like I always imagined in my mind, like, yo, we're gonna have PlayStation versus Xbox, nightly weekends. Like, yo, a lot of dudes will sit up there and be at home. They'll be like, yo, I gotta get on my console. We about to sit up there and do this. We about to be smashing on these fools, da da da, and all this other type of stuff. But you know, like I said, people can only dream. Maybe one day when Sony isn't about the life of just being a recluse and not wanting to sit up there and play with others. Because it took a minute for them to I think what was it? I think Minecraft on PlayStation didn't have online play or cross play. It was something stupid that Sony was doing. And I'm like, why are y'all doing this? I'm like, what is wrong with y'all right now? I'm like, yo, like I said, I don't know what Sony be doing sometimes. I don't know what they be doing. D Love sitting up here laughing. Tiny violins. Yep. Talking about the Titanic, yeah. The money says Sony can't stop me from playing none of my PS3 games. I mean, well, yeah, you might have like a modded PS3. Like I said, I this is why I have a respect for modders and people who mod their stuff. This is why I'm about having physical things so that you can do what it is that you want to do with it. Because a lot of these companies, they'll tell you a multitude of ways of how it is that they don't care, and they will just get rid of whatever they want to get rid of because they just want to have control and power directly over it. Like I said, this is why I have a problem with Nintendo and how it is that they be moving with these consoles, because they're like, if you get a copy of a game early, we can automatically ban your system and ban that game. I'm like, brother, what are you talking about? So if it dropped at my house like 3 days, if the brand new Pokemon pulled up at my house 3 days before it came out, and I put it inside of a Switch 2, and then I tried to play it, and then I had online access and it registered, y'all like, you got an illegal copy. You got it ahead of time. We're banning your system. Brother, what are you talking? Y'all about to run me my money back. That's yeah, y'all about to give me my money. About to give me my money. Like I said, that's crazy to pay all that money for a game console to have the maker sit up there and tell you, how it is that you can play it. That's what I'll be talking about. Like, yo, it's crazy out here. It's wild. This is why, um, physical media should exist, because that's crazy. Like, it's like I said, it is insane. D Money said, "I want that Star Fox remake." Yeah, it looks dope. It looks dope. That Star Fox remake, that looks dope. That is classic. And I was like, yo, I was having flash. Like as soon as I saw that Star Fox, if people remember, if you were around during that time, back when Nintendo used to have a lot of commercials, they had Star Fox commercials. And I saw that, I was having flashbacks. I was looking at the past and the present at the same time. I'm like, this is wild to be able to see that. It is wild. And then the craziest part is Sega is working on remakes of a lot of games from yesteryear. And again, it's going to be something crazy to be able to see remakes of those. I would love to see a up to date version of Eco the Dolphin along with Knights. I would love to see an Unreal Engine 5 version. Like I said, if we got Crazy Taxi, I can't wait to sit up there and see Jet Set Radio, a game I messed out on. And especially for me, Capcom wise, I can't wait to sit up there and see Dino Crisis 2. That is my favorite. That was my start in Dino Crisis. I never got a chance to get one, but I had two. And I would love to see an Unreal 5 version of Dino Crisis 2. That is going to be beautiful. Like I said, Code Veronica, Resident Evil Veronica that's coming out looks beautiful. Graphically, it looks beautiful. That's going to be a game that's going to sit up there and sell. So, like I said, Capcom, Lost Planet, Dino Crisis 2. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Get them out there. Get them out there. What was it? I forgot. What was oh yeah, 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 I was looking at IG because Pink sent the video. Phone is a little bit slow though. Let me see. I think I gotta go to this. Oh man. The face that he's making even on the clip looks crazy. Yeah. So the clip I'm looking at is RDC and talking about Elden Ring. What do you say? Oh, you talking about this? Would you rather spend 6 months in prison or be in jail until your mom can complete Elden Ring with no help? Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I love my mom, and my mom at certain points will play games directly with me, but I know how I play and I have patience. My mom does not really have patience like that. Yeah, I'm in jail. I'm in jail for 6 months. It's, I'm in jail for 6 months. Like my mom, she's not gonna be able to do it. Like I know what it took for me to bear through Elden Ring, and I played as a mage in Elden Ring. I think my health was about like 3 or maybe like did I get it to like I would have to download Elden Ring to sit up there and see, but for the longest time on Elden Ring, my life bar was I had a small life bar. It was about like maybe 3 to 4 because I spec'd into a lot of my magic and my mana. So my mana bar was looking crazy. That bad boy was nice. But yeah, once it started getting to the later end game, that's when I was like playing around and respecting, a lot of stuff when it dealt with my character, my stats, and everything of the sort. But yeah, I knew what it took for me to go through it. Elden Ring myself, yeah. Like I said, I love my mom. Shout out to my mom. I'm going directly to jail. I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. She's not going to be able to do it. And dealing with Elden Ring, you got the tree sentinel. If anybody who's played Elden Ring knows, as soon as you make it through, you become quote unquote the tarnished, and you make it out of that prison, and you walk directly, out the what's the name? I'm just gonna sit up there and let you know. I'm like, yo, you got a tree sentinel. You got a tree sentinel sitting right there, and that's basically a mini boss at the end of the day. That's a whole mini boss that you got to sit up there and fight. My mom ain't gonna be able to do that. I was barely able to do that when I was sitting up there fighting and going directly through that. Like that was an uphill battle. And I'm the type of person where it's like I will get specifically caught up on trying to defeat something. And I'm just consistently just like going back and forth for like 50 deaths deep. And I'm just doing that. And I think what I had to go to the Scarlet Rot area, and I had to get I think it was like A or a S tier type of staff, and then I had to go from that and then go defeat somebody else. I think what was he like on the beach? I think he was like on the beach front in order to get like this magnet or gravity type ability. Like I said, I had to do quite a bit in order to progress. And then I had to get what I call like the crack rocks, which is a spell which you basically cast and you get 3 rocks that you can launch directly towards the enemy at varying distances. So yeah. Yeah, that's not happening. That is not happening. What was it? D Love said she ain't got time for that. She had to wait 9 months for you to get born. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Was it Black said these kids talk about Elden Ring, but could they handle the first 90 seconds with Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson punch out? Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you had folks that sat up there and grew up playing. Like I said, I grew up playing black and white Game Boy, 5 batteries. You had to sit up there and rotate batteries and put them bad boys in the freezer and everything of the sort. You had to take batteries out of remote control and everything like that. I played that, and I played Legend of Zelda. Should be Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, I think it was. Sat up there and played through that. That took me a minute. Um, what else? Super Mario, and like several other games. So yeah. Yep. But anyways, we're going for about a good 3 hours, which again, live stream was not even supposed to be going that long. But much love, respect, and appreciation to any and all of you guys who have been here. Shout out to anybody who dropped a super chat, anybody who dropped any jewels, anybody who hit up the Cash App, the patrons. Shout out to the mods for doing the Lord's work, both seen and unseen. Shout out to any and all new subscribers. And shout out to anybody who was a part of the conversation when it deals with this live stream. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Like I said before, I will have a video up there for you guys. Give us some time. I have that video and other videos up there will be back on schedule for the normal content. So I'll catch you guys in the next video and or live stream. Wait, what say? Beloved said, this was dope, Seji, and thank you. Yeah, no problem. Like I said before, we dealt with the clear cut bullshit in the first hour or two, whatever it is, and then started sitting up there talking about gaming and everything of the sort. So I guess things you can safely say balanced out. But anyways, catch you guys in the next video and or live stream. Peace out.